We are live. I should probably start recording, huh?
No. You betcha.
Nah, I don't have to record this. Come on.
That's what they should have said about lame minutes.
There's a folder for lame minutes. Let's see if there's anything inside that folder. There is
not. Oh, beautiful. Okay, we are recording. We are live.
Great. I actually didn't even plan an intro for this one. Cause I just want to see what happens once alcohol becomes involved, because I am such an incredible lightweight. But you know, we really paced it out well over that 6-hour movie. So like, even though I haven't imbibed quite a lot of alcohol, it was a 6-hour movie. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm less shit-faced than I thought I was going to be, but like I'm feeling it.
I'm warm. I'm feeling right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was feeling my cheeks, but it's kind of like melted down to my jowls.
I hit that point like around the intermission where I was starting to feel it around my forehead and temples. It was like, oh no.
Yeah, it was good. We embraced the intermission.
Okay, so I got Rotten Tomatoes score up and working on an IMDb. So I was trying to think of like an opening for this episode. I don't really have one, but I was like, well, you know, Caleb, I know you from the old country as well. We just had my friend Jill from my old country.
Yes.
And then I have you from college old country.
Yeah.
I was like, what stories do I have of Caleb? Because we were both in the same department, the same major. And there's like one that steps right out of line. Just like, me, tell me. And I'm like, must I? Shut the fuck up, Rotten Tomatoes. It wants me to disable my ad blocker. No. Do you remember, I had already graduated at this point, and I was dating a certain actress who was difficult. And possibly, and I'm not a therapist, psychologist, anything. I don't have a degree in that.
Same.
But I would bet both of my feet that she is a narcissist.
I need you to stop betting your feet.
I don't need them. I don't need them.
You need your feet, Jack.
It's free money.
No.
One man's
feet are another man's treasure.
Yeah. So the story.
That's darkly true.
Yeah.
I've got an email here from Quentin Tarantino.
I don't know who particularly enjoy my feet, but we'll never know.
He's experimenting.
Yeah.
I can't wait for my feet to be in his last movie. 12 Angry Men.
Anyway,
on meth. So this particular actress, she and I were dating. I had already graduated, and for whatever reason, I do not know why, but she just hated you.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. It wasn't like there was like a logic behind it. She just like picked a person and hated them.
Yeah.
Like you could have like maybe like walked past her while you're on the phone and not paid attention to her for a second. She was just like, fuck that fucking Caleb.
Yeah.
So like whatever reason, like every time she would get home from class, she would like come to me and be like, fuck you over again. Like I fucking hate this fucking fuck. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so sad and broken as a human being. Like seriously, it was like the worst year of my life, like for real.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, that's right, honey, you're right. It's just like, I need you to say something to him. I'm like, what? Like you and I have always got along. I'm like,
oh yeah.
You know where it's going? So like I went and saw some show. It might have even been Black Friday, which is a musical that
we were both in together. Yeah.
And you guys were in. It was a great show. I've watched like 4 times. So I was like, Caleb, I need to talk to you in the classroom. Like took you in, like closed the door, and I was like, and she's outside in the lobby, and I'm like, Caleb, I have nothing against you at all, not even a little bit. I don't agree with her, but like if I don't yell at you,
that's right.
I need you to pretend like I just chastised really hard in this room.
My life is to be fucking miserable, so I'm gonna scream.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scream at you. And then when I want you to walk out of the room like you're sad.
Yeah, it was like a walk out with your tail between your legs moment. Yeah.
I'm like, so it's like earmuffs.
Yeah.
Like, how do you like screamed at you?
If you could just put some headphones on and listen to some music real loud for a minute, I'm just gonna shout nonsense.
He was and I'm like literally over there like beet red, crying. I'm laughing so hard. Like Black Friday. I don't know. There were a couple
It was-
times
it
where
was
I
a
was
show,
like
right.
in fire, and I was like, oh, right, here we fucking go. Yeah, yeah. Do you remember that?
You walked out, and she's like,
Oh, that's funny as hell.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
as somebody who has dated a narcissist,
Yeah.
I appreciate that very much. Just,
it was a hell of a couple months, but like that was early on. Definitely a red, like a red flag. Just like an entire red building. I don't know. An entire communist Russia.
Yeah.
Just
cue Soviet theme here.
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's to say we've been through a lot, and now
Yeah.
after today we've been through even
We've
more.
been- I would say this was more traumatizing.
No, honestly, the last one was pretty funny.
Tom Hooper had no part in the last one.
No.
That's true.
Shit. So for those who have not caught on yet, we have been drinking. I might even have already said that, but
We might want to introduce the show.
we'll get to it, Joe.
Yeah.
If they hit the fucking button, they know. But
I mean, sure.
I know. We'll get to it. See if I remember it.
I'm just an idiot and I need it for my own edification.
Oh, okay. Joe, did you know we are recording a podcast?
Fuck you. What?
Yeah. We didn't just watch that movie for fun. Welcome to DeRazzled, the podcast that takes award-winning worst films and fixes them. I'm host Jack Culbertson. Here alongside me, as always, is also host Joe Nealis.
Hello.
I forgot the rest of the script. That's the part I like, so I remembered it. But the second part is, we do movies that have a bad thing happen to them, and we fix it.
No, you said it. You said the part.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you absolutely did.
For those of you who don't know, Razzies are something of a reverse Oscars.
That part.
Those are not good. They recognize the worst movies of the year. We both have useless theater degrees.
Yeah.
Do you still have dreams about like it being like show night and you didn't know you had lines? to
Always.
memorize? I'm like, how I've done theater in a long time.
Same. And like, I still like have those moments. Oddly enough, my dreams are getting much more elaborate, and that like I'm in like professional Broadway shows with like big names. Like I remember at one point I was given an award by Jessica Lange in one of my dreams.
That's fantastic.
I'm not sure for what. I think it actually was for like the Pittsburgh podcast. Which has nothing to do with theater, I guess. But just to give you an idea, those are the types of people that wind up being in the shows that I'm in my dreams.
I was in it was only like a couple days ago. I had a dream that I was like shut up at IUP, and they're like, "Are you ready to go on?" And I'm like, "For what?" And they're like, "Midsummer," Midsummer Night's Dream. I'm like, today? And they're like, "Yeah, like your costume's ready for you. Like get in." So I'm like, "All right." So luckily I was one of the
Rude Mechanicals?
yes,
Good.
yes, which I had been in the past. So like I was Francis Flute. I was trying to.
I was hoping you were going to be bottom. Shit.
No, never good enough to be a bottom. So I just.
Yeah, same.
So I was like one of the other mechanicals, and I was basically like, I don't know my lines, so I'm just going to act off of the other actors. So anytime one of the actors would say something, I just go, "Yerp." And that was my dream. So today we're going to do something a little different. We have Caleb. Do you say your last name? And some people don't want their last name.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We have Caleb Feigles from the Making a Martini podcast. We kind of combined our two styles, meaning Caleb made us a lot of drinks, and we're gonna fix the movie that you picked. Which your assignment was, hey, what is the number one movie musical that you hate the most?
Yeah.
And you said
Les Mis.
2012's Les Miserables.
The sound that everyone makes when they say it.
Right.
usually right after seeing it.
So as soon as you got here, you started making us a drink,
Yeah.
which we are now going to travel back into the past.
We're going to let Sober Us tell you a little bit about this drink.
Welcome back. Wasn't that fun?
Refreshing.
Refreshing 4 hours ago.
We sound so different.
God, I miss those
We
days.
sound like we still had something to live for.
those hours before we had experienced Tom Hooper's Les Miserables. So we have had several gin tonics.
Yeah.
Gin tonics.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
An elevated gin and tonic, let's say.
Some fresh
Yes.
cukes. Yeah.
The cute's really good.
They were
great.
They're quite good. I just finished pulling them out of my last one.
It's a simple drink, but like those cukes do add.
They had, yeah.
It's a nice little treat at the end.
Yeah.
A little crunch, a little bite. Yeah.
I love a good snack.
So what we're going to do today, we're going to do what we normally do, just way worse than we usually do it. We're going to summarize Les Mis. We're going to talk about like what worked, what didn't work. We're going to fix it. And then once we're done with that in 10 minutes, we're going to rant about just whatever we think is funny at that exact moment. But before we do any of that, Joe's going to tell us some things about podcasts, specifically ours, and where you can find it.
Yeah, you can find us on pretty much any platform where you listen to podcasts. So please do that. Please look us up. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones. Please have them subscribe and follow the show. Please rate and review the show in any place you can so that we get further up in search algorithms and people have an easier time of discovering us.
Yes, those things.
Yeah.
No one says it better than Joe.
Steadily getting drunker.
It's weird. I've maintained a very steady buzz, which like,
I'm crossing over that point now.
Yeah.
I did like a quick shot of Maker's Mark, thinking that would push me over, and instead my tummy was like, "Sir, that has no place being inside of you.
How dare you?
How dare you?" So I just got an upset tummy and not. So let's go ahead and summarize Les Mis. But before we do, I want to read you the tagline, the actual tagline for Les Mis: fight, dream, hope, love.
You know, I saw that at the top of the poster, and I thought that was just like marketing bullshit. That's the actual tagline of the film?
I'm going to say yes. So one of the reasons, besides you picked this movie, one of the reasons we thought it was appropriate is Tom Hooper, the director, also directed a movie that we have come to dread.
A movie that haunts us to this day.
The movie that kind of ruined me. It was a 1-2 hit. It was Cats Part 1 and 2, and then Saving Christmas Parts 1 and 2. Kind of just like broke me as a human.
It was that particular set of two-parters in a row just like destroyed your psyche.
Yeah.
But it started with Tom Hooper's Cats.
Cats. And then I think he did that right after Les Mis, I believe.
I think it was the next thing he did after Les Mis, but it was 7 years in between.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He had some time to think about it. Still look it up. Okay.
Think is a strong word.
Joe, would you summarize the movie Les Mis for us?
I'll try.
I like your abbreviated version before you go into a lengthier version.
Oh, so the abbreviated version I gave, if you're just following Jean Valjean's perspective here, is I killed your mom, saved your boyfriend, and found some shit. Les Mis. The longer version is a man steals some bread, is arrested, and thrown into a jail camp where you have to pull boats, I guess.
Yeah.
Is eventually given parole and is then haunted by his decision to steal bread to save a child's life for the rest of his life.
He steals a priest's candelabra.
Steals a bunch of silver from a priest, and the priest is real cool about it and is not a narc, so he does not.
Right on.
Yeah, so he doesn't rat him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the best character in the entire
somebody
goddamn
you just
movie.
really go and get a drink with.
Yeah, I stand this priest, as the
Yeah.
kids say. It, Christ. So he then decides to turn his life around, and some time later,
There's a lot of
18,
time jumps. in this
18
movie.
years is our first time.
it's 18 years,
Yeah.
I think the first time jump, and he becomes the owner of a factory or something that employs Anne Hathaway's character, who also like does some sex work on the side because she has a kid somewhere that like
Is
the
that
dad
why-
ran out on them, and
Is that why they hate on her?
that's why they hate on her. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
all these women that work with her in this factory slut shame her,
Yeah.
and the creepy foreman that was trying to hit on her the entire time just lets her go because
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman is too busy being haunted by the ghost of his bread stealing past to like give a
Right.
damn.
So I didn't get that out of the anime.
or the movie.
Or the movie, really.
Yeah,
It's there.
That.
Yeah, they really don't address it in
I
the
was
movie
just like,
at all.
These other
Or-
ladies
yeah.
are just really mean.
Yeah, well, that is.
It's
I
the
only
subtext.
caught like half of the words. Yeah, the subtext is like these ladies are a bunch of mean ladies, but like
Yeah.
if you pay attention to the words, it is largely them slut shaming her and like being pissed off that she's like the foreman favorite, so they just want to like get her out of there so they can steal her glory. And then she goes and ends up in an even worse situation where she's selling her hair and her teeth and so on and so forth, and just wishes she was dead. And then after trying to defend herself in an altercation, she ends up almost being arrested by the same jag that has tried to ruin Hugh Jackman's character's life.
Played by Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe's Javert.
Jaybird.
Javert.
I think that's the word you're looking for.
And Hugh Jackman, Jean Valjean, going by some other fucking name. Who cares?
24601.
24601.
Which was his prison number.
Yes,
That's why.
he's no, but he's going by a different name in this town, I think. But I forget. I forget what it is.
Yeah.
But not important. He comes to her aid and rescues her from being arrested, so she can die in a hospital.
Which
And
he's ultimately at fault for.
yeah, he could have stopped the factory workers from like shitting on her so hard, or the foreman from firing her and throwing her out in the street.
He was there. Where did he? In the instance where between her getting fired, where did he go?
He went to help the guy.
Well,
he pissed off. He fucked up because
Javert was up in his office suddenly, and he was like, "Oh no, I
yeah.
need to tend to this because I might be in trouble."
right,
And
Kroger showed
Javert,
up.
and Javert doesn't even like know who he is. He doesn't recognize him at all because like
And
a bunch of time has passed.
Some
He looks
fucking
different.
putts get stuck underneath a wagon.
Yeah,
Oh,
something like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
He like
yes.
hulks out and lifts it up.
The Russell Crowe stands by and watches.
Right. Doesn't,
yeah.
doesn't
He just
help.
like let's Wolverine lift up the heavy thing, and then that's
Yeah.
It. So Anne Hathaway's character dies 20 minutes into the movie and gives probably the best performance in the entire damn
excellent
thing.
performance.
Yeah.
Won an Oscar for it.
And out of his guilt for having done this, Jean Valjean goes and finds his daughter under the care of innkeepers, and I use the term innkeepers loosely because it's
We've got a couple of Sweeney Todds.
two Sweeney
Yeah.
Todd style crooks played by Helena Bonham Carter, surprising no one, and Sacha Baron Cohen, surprising no one. They were very good. They're a lot of fun in the movie, and their parts are just delightful. But they are, they're largely there just to kind of illustrate the troublesome upbringing that this kid has had since leaving her sex worker mom.
And here's where I thought intermission belonged, but Caleb actually for me it was
No.
not for another hour.
It was not for another hour.
Yeah.
Joe, are you familiar with the game Popcorn from high school?
I am.
I think you should popcorn.
I'll go for a little bit. I will
sure.
popcorn though.
Yeah. Finish this little stretch out.
So Hugh Jackman goes and tries to save the kid from these two charlatans. Claims he's going to pay them like 1,500 francs, dollars, whatever, monies, to take the kid, and he basically swindles them out of the kid. And then he produces a doll that she looked like she wanted out of nowhere. Like there was no scene of him getting that. He's just carrying a doll in his jacket this entire time for no discernible reason.
Honestly, it was not the doll.
It was an ugly doll, honestly. What the hell, France? So then he takes the kid. They're going to go live this life. He suddenly discovers what love really means because suddenly taking care of a child, and sings an original song that won a bunch of awards, but honestly
Does not fit.
In a carriage, so great
in a
singing.
carriage. It was completely still in a carriage. Just it doesn't fit the tone of anything else that happens the entire show.
It was a shit year for movies.
It was a shit year for movies. I'll give you that. Excuse me.
Except for Killing Them Softly, which you should go watch.
Yeah, you should watch. Why didn't we watch Killing Them Softly?
Highly underrated. Brad Pitt is in it. A bunch of other actors in it. Really great dialogue.
Should have watched Killing Them Softly.
Should watch that.
Anyway,
Don't watch it with your parents.
Javert stops the caravan of carriages, and in his search for Jean Valjean, ends up chasing them down on horseback while he and the little girl run away and then like just jump off a building or something. I don't know. I started losing track of like the thread a little bit there, but they eventually do escape.
That little girl outran a horse.
Yeah, she sure did. And now I will popcorn to Caleb.
Oh man. Yeah. So then Jean Valjean and little Cosette escape.
Oh yeah, the kid had a name. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, it's Cosette.
The girl from the poster.
The girl from, yes, the girl from the poster. And then we get to see a little internal monologue from Russell Crowe. We'll call it a monologue because a lot of it was spoken, even though it was a song. And he made some choices, and you know what? I bet he stands by them.
I don't think he would regret that. He would voice regret.
No.
But he's, Batman sulks on the top of a building and almost walks off the edge, but doesn't, and just regretting letting him go, having him get away, but also regretting still chasing him down after 18, 19 years, something around there.
Very dedicated to that specific job.
Yeah. So then we have another time jump. We go 8 years, 9 years.
9 years.
9
Yeah,
years.
9
9
years
years
for this
later. Yeah. Everyone's a little older. No one's any wiser. But we're introduced to another little kid character named Gavroche, who's a little Cockney boy living in Paris.
one of many
British
Cockney
people.
children.
Yeah.
And we know his name because he goes out of his way to introduce himself to just some noble in a carriage.
Yes. Yeah.
The song was. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the point of his song. It's like, hey, I'm here. Listen to me. But yeah, we see the slums of Paris and the wealth divide, and I'm assuming that's what they were going for.
They should try it.
Yeah, they did try. And we meet some other characters. We meet Marius, played by Eddie Redrum.
Eddie Redrum.
Eddie Redrum. And
Albus Dumbledore. No, hold on. Eddie Redmayne.
Thank you. Yes. I was really blanking on his name. I was like, oh shit. We meet him. We meet Aaron Tveit, who is a Broadway actor whose character name I don't actually know.
It was like way more enjoyable and
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah, Eddie Redrum. And they are sort of leaders of the revolution of the poor people. And they're saying that, thank God that this, higher up has our backs and he's looking out for us. Then what happens? Oh, we see Jean Valjean and Cosette has grown up, played by Amanda Seyfried.
Yes.
Who,
I said Siegfried.
who bless her heart, tries.
Okay.
Yeah. She's all grown up now, and she happens to spot Eddie Redrum across a crowded street. And
I fuck.
They instantly know that they're in love and that it's meant to be. But Hugh Jackman's like, oh man, gotta get her away from this guy. Which she does. He takes her home.
Thing.
Yeah. And then we find out that Eponine. We did forget about
Eponine, the actual daughter of the innkeepers.
Right. Played by Samantha Barks.
Mwah.
She's great.
Yeah, she was great. I want to say Banks, but I'm pretty sure it's Barks.
It is Barks.
Okay,
yeah.
great. We see that she's also grown up and she is in love with Eddie Redrum, but has not told him yet. And I hope she doesn't learn to regret that. It just seems like maybe, something she should do. But she sees that Eddie Redrum's in love with Amanda Seyfried by simply looking at her. And then where do we go? Popcorn Jack.
All right, I actually don't know what happens next. I just want to jump. I just want to fuck over. So Biscotti, little boy, that gets shot, killed. Which makes the rowdy boys real upset.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we're all your furniture in a pile. We're gonna throw a revolution. And the French soldiers are like, hey, over there, are you a god? And they're like, no, we're a French revolution. They're like, just what we wanted to hear. So they shoot him. They shoot at him. And then he... No, I'm getting
You're doing great.
No, I mean, I'm actually, that's pretty accurate.
Samantha Barks.
Yeah.
Dresses like a boy so
Yeah.
she can go fight in a war.
Yeah.
Honestly, she's the only one that's like worth her salt. She gets shot, of course, because she literally stops a bullet from hitting Eddie Redrum by taking the gun and pointing it into her chest because she couldn't have pointed it
Anywhere else.
Not up or anything.
not up or left or right, but directly into her heart.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that, Sam Barks.
Come on, Sam.
But she was cool. I liked her, and she's dead.
Christ.
She's like, oh, hey, just so you know, I'm going to die in about 20 minutes, Eddie Redrum. So I got this note that
20 minutes of them speaking to each other later.
Right. Amanda Siegfried and Roy gave left for you, but like I didn't give it to you because like I'm kind of a bitch, honestly.
I didn't like that you friend zoned me, Eddie Redrum.
He did friend zone her
Yeah.
so hard.
Maybe she did deserve
like
it.
not even like I mean she might have deserved it, and like friend zone's kind of a
Stupid.
troubling word, but
Yeah, it's a stupid,
I
unreal
meant
thing.
death,
But
not
you
the
never
first
see. But you never see a woman get friend zoned. So
That's true.
the
Yeah.
thing that bothered me, he's like, hey, would you? I know you're in love with me, but would you help me find this chick that I fucked that one time? And she's like,
fine.
and she does, and then like they're singing and having this moment where they like touch fingers like ET through a fence, and she's over there like singing like, why don't you ever love me? I said it was lyrics. I give a shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's dead, and then like, I actually forget how Hugh Jackman's Jean Valjean gets a hold of the note, but he do, and then he's like, oh right, Biscotti gets it to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fucking Gavroche, the kid
Right.
does.
Brush, yeah.
Yeah.
This is before he died.
Yeah.
He didn't come back to.
No, he didn't come back to life. He is,
zombie.
yeah, we've non-lineared this the same way we did our alcoholism. So
And Hugh Jackman's like, you know what? I was kind of being a dick about that whole like letting my daughter have the person that like she can relate to and love because she has hormones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Fuck, that's a war. He might die because war does that.
Mhm.
So he goes and he's like, oh hey, Russell Crowe, who got captured and is like tied up. You can go free. For reasons.
yeah, he lets
Um,
Javert go free, and acts like he shot him, so that the clearly skilled and knowledgeable and capable
Mhm.
rebels,
They're the worst fucking rebels.
they're really fucking bad at their jobs. Oh my
Terrible. First of
god!
all,
All 12 of them.
You captured like a leader of the military, and we're just like, what should we do with him? Well, let the people decide. Sir, you are the people.
You are the people.
You are the people.
You are the people.
And the answer is shoot him. And they're like, oh, we'll let Hugh Jackman, who is a stranger who came dressed in like soldier attire, we'll let him decide. I'm like, you guys suck. You deserve to lose. And they do.
And they do.
So we'll jump right ahead to that part where they lose.
Yeah. That's next.
They do.
Yeah.
And then Hugh Jackman's like, I'll save Eddie Redrum for my daughter.
Yeah, Eddie Redrum gets shot and is bleeding out, and then Hugh Jackman decides to save him by dragging his wounded body into a sewer.
It's fine. It's just coffee grounds.
It's so
it's
bad.
Just straight up coffee grounds with like too much liquid. Where they run into like Sacha Baron Cohen, who's like, I'm stealing that ring, and then he tries to get drowned by.
Sacha Baron Cohen almost gets drowned in some poop, and
But it's fine. Like they escape, and then Hugh Jackman gets caught by Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe's like, "I'm gonna do it," and Hugh Jackman's like, "But like, I
Do what you won't.
do what you
Bitch, I'm
want."
covered in shit. What?
And I'm like, Hugh Jackman, we can't even tell like who the actor is in the scene. Maybe just give yourself with your face a wipe so we know that you're Hugh Jackman. No, it's fine. You dedicate it. I get it. You're doing this for the love of the musical, not for the love of the paycheck. And you know, Russell Crowe's like, "I'll shoot you," and he's like, "Fuck you, bitch. You're not doing that." And then Russell Crowe has a song where he like walks back and forth over a railing.
His
He's on a bridge.
his second Batman-esque scene
Yeah,
where he's
second
walking on a
Batman-esque
high ledge.
And he's like, "I don't know why I let him go. He killed me by letting me free." And then he jumps into some water, breaks his legs, and then dies.
Yeah. Oh.
He breaks his everything.
He breaks his everything.
His breaks is
Pretty
most
rough.
of him.
It
Just-
was, for a river, it was quite shallow.
yeah.
Yeah.
He aimed at like the exact point of this like water falling brook in the
Yeah.
river that like had to have had a man-made like lip in it,
Like,
and he just lands
the
like
most painful.
he
word.
lands like
yeah.
stomach first into this lip.
Yeah.
Just like that was unnecessarily
Right,
painful,
right.
Javert.
You
What are
need
you
to do
doing?
that.
But good for the audience.
Jaber,
You know?
why? So then we have a wedding with Amanda Siegfried and Eddie Redrum.
Oh yeah, by the way, Eddie Redrum's character is fucking loaded and has a rich ass family and just kind of forgets about his revolutionary brethren who all died.
And then he's like, "Oh, but wait, I found out that like Hugh Jackman saved me in the shit water. I'm gonna stop my wedding and go save him right now."
Yeah.
And they get there and they sing, and then he dies because he's sleepy.
He dies because tired.
He's tired.
Hugh Jackman's been through a lot. He's like,
To be
"All right."
fair, he
And
did start the movie by pulling a giant boat.
He is
Yeah.
he's very tired. It wasn't as bad as when Anne Hathaway died because she was tired.
Yeah,
Like she didn't done that as much. I mean, she had a pretty rough week.
she had a hard time.
Yeah.
She had a very hard time, but
she could have had a nap and been done. She didn't have to like die about
Yeah.
it.
they could have
Just
like
like,
medicine
you know,
her.
They could have medicined her.
Yeah, like a little face mask.
It's
But
You know,
a
like,
little
relax.
self-care.
Tamper, bitch. Like, I don't know.
Hugh Jackman died and went to sing with the Ghost Revolution.
Yeah,
And the end.
Les Mis.
and that was 6 hours.
There's so many fucking stupid subplots in this goddamn
Oh my
piece of
god!
shit movie.
Yeah, it almost rivals Spice World for like number of side plots.
So many.
So here's the part of the show where we talk about things that made the show the way it is. Money.
But do we cover the scores?
We're gonna do that now.
Okay.
Except I just closed that window, but it's fine. Hey Caleb.
Yeah.
What would you say the general audience score is?
No, the critic score.
The general critic
Jesus Christ!
score. I will never get it right.
I know.
What would you say the critic score is for? Honestly, on this one, it really doesn't matter.
That's fair.
Les Mis.
Is it a percentage?
Yes.
Like out of 100%? Okay. I'm going to go with 35.
Not how you feel.
25. No, I'm just kidding. General critic, 60.
Do you know?
I forget, but I think it might have been higher actually.
88.
What?
Oh god, I didn't realize it was that high. Fuck.
It's really high. How about the audience score?
Another percentage? 52.
89.
What?
Yeah, these scores
Oh
are
my
ridiculously high. Like when you were like, "Hey, this is the movie musical I hate the most," I'm like, "Oh, great, we're gonna be able to trash this movie." And then I like went and looked at the scores, went to look at any Razzies, nothing. Like people love this fucking movie.
You know, though, it would kind of make sense because it's the movie based on the musical. So the people that were going to see this, you went if you were a fan of the musical. And I think if people who are fans of the musical, which I'm not a part of that group
Right.
either, went to see it, they were like, "Wow, art." But I don't necessarily see like non-musical people really flocking to the theater to see this.
No, I mean I certainly didn't.
Yeah.
So do you think that holds true for Cats as well? Like fans of Cats went to see Cats and they were disappointed by Cats?
I do happen to know people that thoroughly enjoyed Cats. I'm no longer friends with them, but I mean,
That's how I recognize these people were toxic and cut them out of my life.
yeah, it actually was very helpful. It's a super helpful tool. But they're just kind of like those like music theater, diehard people that are like, "Ugh, so great to see this work come to life."
Yes,
I got 20 minutes into Cats and I did turn it off. So I have not actually the most I know about Cats is from listening to you guys. So.
Hell yeah. 'Cause
it's really a way to experience Cats.
you're better off, frankly.
Yeah.
It is. I'm still astounded thinking back on it, like how visually overwhelming it is, but also
So
how
much.
boring it is.
Yeah.
It's
Right?
wow.
And no buttholes.
And no buttholes. No
what's the
butthole.
point?
Well, no,
So-
we offered an option for it.
In our fix, we offered the butthole toggle option.
Yes. There's.
Uh,
I don't want that for this movie.
Not for this movie.
No.
For Les Mis.
I think buttholes would help.
You think so?
I think if everyone showed their butthole right in the beginning,
I don't
you could
think
be
I
like,
want to
all
see.
right.
I don't think I want to see Russell Crowe's butthole.
You wouldn't see it for all the hair.
Oh.
IMDb.
Christ.
I want to say he was originally considered to be Wolverine.
We'll have to look that up later.
I want to say that this movie was made specifically because there was a rivalry between Russell Crowe and Hugh Jackman because they both wanted to be Wolverine.
Well, they
Hugh
really
Jackman
should have
died.
had Ryan Reynolds in here somewhere to just like court both of them.
Right.
Just
16% of what I just said was true. IMDb,
Yes.
out of 10, what do you think Les Mis got?
6.
This one I don't know. I'm gonna guess. Oh God, I'm actually gonna guess a 7.1.
Close. 7.6.
Oh, okay. Still too damn high.
So, like,
People really liked this movie.
this
It's
was not a bad movie as far as Razzies go.
no,
Um,
don't- and just for frame of reference, like. So this movie was nominated for a ton of Oscars, for a ton of other awards. It didn't win Best Picture at the Oscars. I think that was the year Argo won.
Yes.
Yeah, Argo won for Best Picture that year. But this did win like Movie of the Year from a bunch of other like critics organizations and stuff like that. It wasn't nominated for a single Razzie, and the reason why is just because like the shit that was nominated for Razzies was so
What year
bad.
was that for Razzies?
All this stuff came out in 2012, so this was the February 2020 or February 2013. Whenever all these awards were coming out, it was early 2013 that all these award shows were happening. So for the Razzies, your worst picture nominees were Twilight, Breaking Dawn Part 2, which won,
That'll do it.
Battleship, which is still one of the worst drinking experiences I've ever had in my life. That drinking game is designed to murder somebody, I swear to God. The Oogie Loves in the Big Balloon Adventure, which don't look at the poster for that movie. You'll be cursed for life. That's My Boy, the Adam Sandler, Andy Samberg vehicle. I blanked on his name. I blanked on Andy Samberg's name for a second.
You don't want him to be associated with the movie.
I didn't, but here we are. And 1,000 Words, which I really don't know anything about, aside from the fact that Eddie Murphy's in it. That's all I know. And the only reason I know that is because he was nominated for Worst Actor. But yeah, the other nominations as you go down, you have like One for the Money, you have Ghost Rider, The Spirit of Vengeance, you have Alex Cross, you have Medea's Witness Protection, and the Razzies, Fascination with Tyler Perry. You have the remake of Red Dawn. You have,
Oh my gosh, that's right.
You have Atlas Shrugged Part 2. You have a lot of garbage in here that got nominated because it wasn't really all that great a year for movies in a lot of ways.
Not really. Like, Argo was a fine enough movie.
I
It's
still haven't
interesting
seen it.
historically more than it is as a movie.
Yeah, it is interesting historically. That is one of the reasons why it's like still on my radar. Of like, oh, I should go back and watch that. But
And it's not a bad movie. Like the performances are great. It's just not what I would typically say is like, oh, this was the best movie of the year.
Right.
yeah, and like a lot of the stuff that is nominated here, like I understand it being nominated. Like
Right.
everything in the Twilight Saga getting nominated for a Razzie makes perfect sense. That's My Boy makes perfect sense. Battleship, yes. The Oogie Loves or whatever, like that's a kids movie,
Yeah.
despite it having like a weirdly star-studded cast.
Yeah.
It is a little strange that got nominated for Worst Picture, but yeah, no, there was a lot of trash that year that would like deserved recognition as such. It's understandable Les Mis got kind of overlooked in the midst of all of that, but the level of critical acclaim that it got feels kind of bizarre too.
Yeah. Like a lot of the performances, I'm gonna say a lot. I really enjoyed Anne Hathaway, but as we pointed out, she's only in it for about
20 minutes,
20 maybe 30
Something
minutes.
like that, yeah.
And Hugh Jackman was great. My major problem with the movie, aside from Kurt Russell's performance,
Russell Crowe.
Kurt Russell Crowe.
Kurt Russell Crowe.
I'm sorry, Kurt Russell. I love you so much. I want to like erase Russell Crowe because I was thinking about this during the movie. There are certain actors that I'm like, oh, you are good only because I've been told you're good.
Yeah.
And there are two actors in this movie that are that for me.
Oh,
Russell Crowe, who's like, he's not an awful actor, but he's not
a good singer.
He's an awful singer.
No.
But I've never seen him like, oh, his performance was excellent. I've watched him in a bunch of movies too. Like I've watched Beautiful Mind, I've watched Gladiator, and I'm like, your performance is it's fine. It doesn't detract from the movie.
Yeah.
Uh,
But he's also not like the standout performance in a lot of those movies. Like Beautiful Mind in particular, I feel like
kind of like Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly was excellent. But I'm also thinking, what the hell's his name? The guy who plays Vision.
Oh, shit.
Paul Bettany.
Yeah. Oh, he's incredible.
Yeah, but also Paul Bettany was like excellent in that movie, and he's playing a hallucination.
Right.
Like,
it was a really good hallucination.
Yes.
But I'll probably catch shit for this, but Idris Elba is another actor where I'm like, I've never seen you in a movie where I am like, oh, you are always going to be an incredible Oscar level actor. I've only ever seen you as like, you're fine.
Yeah.
Or Wolf, which was Cats. Like, I'm not gonna hold Cats against him.
Cats is the one instance that I can think of where I've seen him and been like, "Oh, Idris, come on!"
Right.
Every other time I've watched him, like it may not be an Oscar level performance, but I've always been like, "Nice, I've enjoyed watching you."
Yeah. And this one is also Eddie Redmayne.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Where
Yeah.
like I've never hated you in a performance, but I've never watched a performance by you where I'm always blown away. Like you are an A-list Oscar level actor, and I don't know why.
I think he worked his way into some prestige because of some of the roles he managed to land after this. Like this one, like this won an Oscar, and then he got Theory of Everything. He got The Danish Girl. He got I feel like there's another one in there that was like really noteworthy.
He's a Dumbledore.
Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, he's Newt Scamander in the Fantastic Beasts franchise. Yeah, I mean, and I've only seen the first of those movies, and I enjoyed him in that role. I think he was really well suited for that role.
Yeah,
but like overall, those movies are like
I wasn't looking for. I knew what I was getting when I went into it.
Exactly,
like, just like any Harry Potter movie. I'm like,
right, and I don't expect like Oscar level performances out of movies like that.
No.
But I haven't seen an Oscar level performance out of him in general.
And yet I think
he has one, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah, he did win. Yeah, he won for The Danish Girl.
I assume it was good.
And I think he was nominated for Theory of Everything, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. Yeah, I'm not shitting on him or Idris Elba or
I know what you mean though. It's like
Russell Crowe, but I'm also like, you don't like. I'm not drawn to a movie because I see your name in it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like I don't dislike whenever I see him, but he's yet to like really wow me, I think.
And I think he has it in him.
He could.
For sure.
Yeah.
But like when he popped up on screen, literally a little over halfway through the movie, I was like, huh, oh, all right.
I had forgotten he was even in this, and I'd seen the movie before.
So before we go to critiquing the film, I'd like to touch on the stage version of the show. Because I have not seen it live, unfortunately, and I don't think you, Joe, have seen it.
No, I've also not seen it live. Caleb, you're the only of us who have.
Yeah.
So how is this typically presented? I know you've seen like a Broadway performance. You've seen like more local versions.
Yeah. So it's very much focused on the vocals and the solo numbers. That is what all the stage shows that I've seen seem to sort of fall back on. And that usually whenever it's done, it's like it's an event. Like, you know, if you see it at a community theater, it's like the best of the best of the best, quote unquote.
Sure, right.
You know, come out for it. People come back to town. You know, it's like one of those things where like people do it over and over and over. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it makes money. People just get off to Les Mis. And that's just, I guess, you know, some people's preference on music theater. But typically, like, what you see is you get like facades of sets, you get random furniture pushed on, like a bed or a table or, you know, things like that.
More sparse in terms of
you're not having like full blown.
So it's more like a studio theater type thing where you're like,
yeah,
the furniture that's necessary for the scene, but that's about it.
Right. And it's because so much of the show is plant and sing. Like when, you know, you've got minimal choreography, you don't have, you know, I think, to be perfectly honest, if there was elaborate sets and like all this stuff, I think it would just make it more confusing because you'd be looking at other stuff and you're like, oh, fuck, I've really got to pay attention to this storyline because there's already 4 new people on stage and I don't know who they belong to or why they're here.
Yep.
It's very much there is no dialogue. If I don't believe so. I'm pretty sure if there is, it's 1 or 2 lines, maybe a couple words.
Which that style is referred to as sung through.
Yeah. I would classify it as an operetta. It's all sung through, which I think is a big reason why the movie just like even more so doesn't do it for me, because they add these elements of like almost like plot and backstory that you don't get in the show. Like you don't get to see the Gandalf trek to Mordor in the very beginning, and you don't get the giant battle scenes. I mean, there are battle scenes, but it's like 30 seconds and it's over.
Sure, yeah.
You're like, wow, like imagine like that. Those last 2 battle scenes in the movie were like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that is like shrunken down. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because like this is all essentially leading up to the June Rebellion, which was 2 days in June of 1832.
Actual rebellion.
Yeah, an actual thing that happened in Paris, and like that takes up almost the entirety of the end of the film, with the exception of like the wedding stuff and like the Jean Valjean dying and whatnot. For what is supposed to be essentially the second act.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
it's all of these. It's based on this rebellion, but they give you all these fictional characters and how they weave into the story of this rebellion, which is completely fictional. Or the rebellion is real, but the characters and the love story, the plots,
how that all
of like
is.
Like obsession, revenge, like all of that stuff is just a bunch of bullshit to get into the June Rebellion and be like, oh, I care. Except you don't.
I don't know if that. And we'll get into.
Yeah, and I would say that for the show as well. Like that's the kind of. It's that same kind of idea. You've got all these characters, people going in and out, and you get to this, you know, major event where people start dying, and you're like, why?
Okay,
what happened?
I was going to ask you, like, the movie is about 2 hours and 50. It's almost 3 hours, so 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Is the show longer-ish?
I think the show's about 2.5.
So, because for me, like, a lot of the characters had a foundation that they could have been interesting or could have been, like, I could have cared about them, but they didn't have the time to build that.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, maybe the show is like 4 hours long. They
No.
flesh out these characters.
Yeah. I would say that there are elements of that in the show. Like, for instance, Eponine and Marius, Samantha Barks, Eddie Rembrandt. Their relationship, I think, is fleshed out a lot more in the show, and that movie really doesn't do that justice. I have a feeling that it's because like we needed more screen time for Russell Crowe to ride a horse,
Right.
you know. So you don't get that. There is more of Amanda Seyfried's character too, so you actually like feel for her when her father dies, whereas like in the movie you're like, where the fuck have you been?
She just stood here for the entire rebellion.
Yeah, like she wasn't there.
Yeah, she was gone for a large percentage of the second act.
Yeah, where did she like Hugh Jackman was there.
Yeah.
So she couldn't have been that far away. She just was, I don't know, smoke break off.
She's back at Crafty. You
Right.
had also mentioned while we were watching it that there was a portion during that death scene at the end where Cosette and the ghost of her mother have like a moment, and it's not in the film.
Yeah, it's a beautiful moment, and the harmonies are like it's like one of the only moments of the show that I love, and every time I've seen it, it's given me like chills because it's very full circle for their characters.
Mhm.
But the movie cuts out parts of I mean, not really. And Anne Hathaway's part, the Fantine part, is pretty much in whole. Like, we see her. And actually, honestly, you get more in the movie of her than you do of her in the actual show. Like, you don't see this sort of fall from grace that she has from working at the factory. Factory to, you know, you get sort of like the prostitutes like taking her under their wing and being like, you know, the Lovely Ladies song. And you get that, and you get like gentlemen like, you know, bobbing and weaving through a crowd.
Sure.
You know, very
And there were
theatrical.
certain moments in the presentation where it felt very much like a set.
Mhm.
Where it almost not quite as obviously, but almost like watching the film version of Chicago, where you have the different sex workers in the windows kind of doing their song and dance, as Anne Hathaway's character is being destroyed by these, I don't know if they were supposed
Society,
to be like society and pimps and whatever.
Yeah.
Have your teeth stolen or whatever.
Right.
Which I don't know. It feels weird to say, but like I really
it was a nice look at that character that you don't get in the show, and that might be the one thing the movie does better.
Okay.
It's her part.
As we said, she received an Oscar for that performance.
That was Anne Hathaway's first Oscar, I believe, for Best Supporting Actress, and deserved, absolutely deserved. She crushed it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing the show live. I think I would actually probably enjoy it more, if for no other reason than you would have actors that are trained vocally.
Yeah,
which was an issue that we'll get to.
Yeah.
I think I would still have issues with the characters not being as developed, but it's another thing we'll get to.
Yeah.
Any other big differences between the film and the stage show?
No, the only other thing that I remembered was that they moved one of the songs up. There's a song that would typically be in Act 2, that they moved before like the end of the Act 1 song.
Okay, sure.
The Act 1 song is that One Day More, where it's like every character has their own vocal line.
Yeah, which is like a great song, but like the visual presentation of it was so scattered and like rapidly cut. It was
focus on it.
Yeah, it was disorienting.
Yeah. They moved that song beforehand, which I mean, I couldn't tell you if it was better or worse. I think it was in the show. It's nice to give her something to do other than die in Act 2. But in the movie, I guess it doesn't really matter. And it happened in a moment. It's a song of love to Eddie Redmayne. Yeah. So, in everything that was happening in the movie at that point, I guess it makes sense. But I know they moved it. That's really the only other big. I don't think they cut anything really major either. It's been a hot minute.
If you had to. If I gave you a phone and John Travolta was on the other end right now, what would you tell him?
John Travolta?
John Travolta, like about Les Mis or just in general?
Oh, like, hey, the phone's for you, and I hand it. I'm like, oh, it's John.
Oh, I would.
It's me, John Travolta.
I would ask him what filming the movie Lucky Numbers was like.
It was great. I had a fun time.
and where a lot of those ideas came from.
Please tell David Miscavige I'm still good.
And I would also blame him for being a major ruining plot of the Hairspray movie. That's about it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. Hairspray, go watch it. No, not that one. The old one, the John Waters version.
There you go.
It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun. This stupid fucking show. Joe, you're better than this. Why are you here?
What? Have you met me? No, I'm not.
Run ad.
The most eloquent ad break we've ever had. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, a slice of pizza. Anyone want a slice of pizza?
I'll take a slice of pizza. Yeah.
So I guess we're going to do the critique next, right?
I guess, are we going to do like critique directly into fix?
I guess. I don't know what. I have no ideas
On how to fix.
on how to fix.
Yeah, we.
Maybe through critique. Oh. Uh-oh.
You mean to bring you a piece of something?
What was that?
You want me to bring you a piece of something?
Yeah, if you can bring me a slice of pepperoni.
Definitely not the most evenly cut pizzas, because like the next slice of pepperoni was like this big.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of that going on.
You want one, Caleb?
No. Shout out on my cukes. Yeah.
Anyone wants some Maker's Mark?
The Maker's
I mean, I would take some.
A scotch.
I'm probably gonna take a little sip for. I got some cheery Pepsi. I may have drank out of that directly. I can't remember. Was that Hazel?
Hi, Hazel. That bag of ice in your freezer because it was small enough.
Yeah.
So now you have a bag of ice.
Probably a solid idea.
Do you want me to rinse that out?
What's that?
Do you want me to rinse that out?
Oh,
Put
yes,
that in?
please.
Is it almost 7?
Hmm?
Is it almost 7?
It is 7.
That's why she's out here. Same time. Whew. How long did part 1 run?
Including the time lapse, about an hour.
What? Time lapse?
Yeah.
Oh,
The sober part we recorded earlier.
Really? I mean, I guess our summary did take a minute.
We just kind of waxed a little bit longer than I was expecting we were going to on that.
So depending on how quickly we get through the fix, not fix, do we want to play the game? Caleb?
There's a game.
There's a game. We haven't given him any preparation.
I think let's not this time. This is like, I think that works better for like people we're not already friends with going in. Like, you know, like we didn't do that for Steve. We didn't do that for Scott. We didn't do that for,
True.
you know, like it made sense to do it with Antonio. It makes sense to do it with Raphael. It'd be kind of weird if we did it with like Belinda.
Yes.
You know, just like
That's fair. The game is
Can We Be Friends?
Can We Be Friends? Where we ask you a series of pre-made questions that are like, what's the movie that makes you happy? What's the movie that you fucking hate? What's the movie that you know is bad but you like anyway? That kind of thing. Would you hand me the whiskey? Gotta be honest. Kind of hate Maker's Mark. Not my fave. I think we just may have lost. I might have lost us our sponsorship from Maker's Mark.
Yeah, because we were close to getting that.
Yeah. Would you hand me the Pepsi?
Yes.
What are some of the movie musicals that you do like?
Favorite one, Chicago. It's my number one. That was my like game changer one where I was like, theater's cool.
Yeah, I got you.
Little Shop, of course.
Oh, I love Little Shop.
How many other ones are there?
I think
Reefer Madness. Love
that is a good one.
Madness.
I haven't watched it
blast.
sober, but I really
It is
enjoyed it.
vastly different from the actual show, but I think in all the right reasons. I kind of wouldn't want to see the show.
I know it's vastly different from the 1920s propaganda film.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, but like the movie, they added like the I forget which songs are in.
There's like a brownie animated song.
Yeah, that is not in the musical. I forget what they do in place of it. There's like there is a song that the Sally's baby fetus sings in the musical that I'm kind of sad is not
Gotta
in
be
the
honest,
movie.
you kind of hate that.
What else isn't?
Ice, anybody? A sack of
I
ice.
could have,
Nah, I'm
a
good.
song. I could have a little ice. What else? Oh, the Love by Mary Lane song.
It's been so long since I've watched
It's
that.
like that boppy one. The murder song isn't in it, where everyone comes back and it's just like terrorizing Anna Gaston.
Can't forget about Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror, do love that.
Of course.
I mean, I don't know if it was ever nominated or anything for Razzies, but I am a personal fan of Rock of Ages. But that's also because
Sure.
I love the show.
Sure.
Show is it's vastly different.
Caleb, while you're in there, can you grab a paper towel?
Yes.
Yes. Hazel.
Yes. I can.
You know where they are?
No. Okay.
Oh shit! I forgot they got brought into the living room. Thank you.
There's also a French musical called Huit Femme. It's actually in French. I have not heard of it. It's a murder mystery.
I like wheat thins.
Isn't there a movie musical with Stallone where he plays a gangster?
I don't know.
Could be wrong.
And coincidentally, I really enjoyed the Diana musical.
I need to watch it. Like I after seeing it nominated for so many fucking Razzies over
Mhm.
Thunder Force,
Honestly,
Like-
we'll probably end up having to watch it because it'll probably win.
I'm at this point I'm pulling for Space Jam 2 to win Worst Picture, just so we have a reason to talk about that. But
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I guess I don't know why it's not made because it was just a filmed
Yeah,
Stage show.
it gets
Yeah.
weird. It seems like a very strange thing to nominate.
Yeah.
Would you clip that? Yeah. Is Xanadu a musical, or is there just a lot of roller skating?
Oh, it's a musical.
That's a musical for sure.
I do also enjoy
That
that.
got nominated for a Razzie in 1980. That was among like the first crop of.
Yeah, it definitely got nominated.
I would believe that. I love it, but
Yeah, like the very first year in 1980, like there was a ton of nominations. It was like 10 films I think got nominated.
wow.
Xanadu was on that list. The original Friday the 13th was on that list.
wow,
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Can't Stop the Music won.
I'm not familiar with that one.
You're okay.
We might end up doing Xanadu someday, just because I've heard so much about.
Oh, you've never seen it? It's
Me
a
neither.
trip. Oh, it really is. Like
It's
I
a
would.
disco musical, correct?
Oh, it's ABBA.
No, it's Electric Light Orchestra.
Oh, really?
What?
I thought it was
That's
It's
ABBA.
all ELO.
Huh.
Oh shit! Not really want to see it.
Which
Bonkers.
yeah, the music is great, and like seeing what's her face? Yes, and Fred Astaire tap dance together is pretty cool.
Shit,
That's
I didn't know
wild.
Fred Astaire was in
Yeah,
it.
it's
Nor did I.
Do you just want to just like go watch that?
you guys just want to watch it. Yeah, no, it's fun. It's long. It's another one of those things where it's like, ooh, you could have cut some stuff out, but like the 70s like glow waves that come off of people as they do. It's trippy. Like, you know, it all comes from this young artist who likes to do chalk paint. One of his chalk paintings comes to life, and it's all these muses from Greek
Oh,
mythology.
That is wild.
And Olivia
Yeah.
Newton-John is one of
And I wish we were doing that. Hey, welcome back to DeRazzled.
them. Just completely throw everyone off.
I hope you enjoyed our conversation about Xanadu. I wish we were covering. And very well may someday we'll have to have you back on a paper cover Xanadu.
I know. I should have picked like a musical that I knew was bad, but
Yeah.
also might have
Fun.
Yeah, yeah.
The only thing I know about
The clue
Well-
is in the name. This one.
see, every time I hear Xanadu, I think of Citizen Kane because the movie starts like Xanadu, Pleasure Dome.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that has nothing to do with the movie Xanadu with the
No,
Olivia
I
Newton-John.
don't think so.
No, Orson Welles is just in the background of this one.
Just slamming hot dogs.
Yeah, on roller skates. Yeah,
And on roller
Yeah.
skates. Doing
There's a-
magic and eating hot
yeah.
dogs.
There is
Someone
somewhere out
needs to
there-
restock craft services.
There's a director's cut I think of Xanadu with like
Really?
10 extra minutes of
Oh
roller
my god,
disco.
we would absolutely watch that and not need them.
It is no. I mean, I know for sure I haven't seen it, and that roller disco at the end is at least 15 minutes.
We'll
Oh
watch
my
that.
God.
We'll do double feature with Caligula.
Anyway.
Welcome back to DeRazzled. We are going to talk about what worked, what didn't work about 2012's Les Miserables.
Which does stand for the miserable ones, which I would put us in that group.
Yeah, that's
we,
fair.
We are, in fact, it's a meta title.
Yeah.
We are the miserable ones.
Yeah.
So what worked for you about the story? What worked?
For the story. The story. We've already touched on it. The Anne Hathaway storyline
Yes.
definitely works. And quite honestly, the ongoing story of Jean Valjean and Javert, had there not been so much else, I think that storyline could have been fun to watch.
I think it gets easy to forget about it at times, but like the through line of that I think does work.
That's the most consistent one.
Yeah.
It's the one you get from the beginning, and it's the, I guess, have to be the carrying story. Yikes. And Samantha Barks. The Eponine character, the On My Own Girl,
Yeah, she works.
her storyline was pretty true to what the musical was, and I think it came through in the movie.
I think Tom Hooper fucked up and like truncated her part too much. Like we get through a little bit of that too quickly, and it's not developed well enough. But I do think that like the core idea of it does work, and her performance is fantastic. Her voice is spectacular. her emotion is believable.
That's what I was about to say. Is even though we don't see a lot of it on screen, her performance implies that she's been in love with that character for a long time.
Yeah, that unrequited love comes across perfectly.
I would have loved to have seen more of that.
Yeah.
That's we've covered in our previous episode, Heaven's Gate, and like as long and as obnoxious as this movie is, I think it actually would have helped to have had more time to sit with these characters, especially on the back end with Amanda Seyfried's Eddie Redrum and I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. Oh, not Samantha Barker, but the character's name.
Ebony?
Ebony. Yeah. To see that love triangle develop more than just like, man, like I saw you cross the crowd and you were totally bangable. That's not enough for me to.
I saw you cross the crowd in the middle of France and I jizzed in my pants.
I mean, if they'd done that.
Just Andy Samberg walks past, makes a horrible face, and you just know.
Honestly, he can't be that expensive that like you can't just pay for him for a cameo.
I'm pretty sure if you pitch the right gag to him, he'd do it for free.
Like Andy, love your work. Great album.
I love The Lonely Island. Here's a pitch.
Could you walk by in the background of this musical? You may have heard of it, maybe not. And jizz in your pants. You don't have no. You don't actually have to.
You know the faces you made.
Like the faces you made.
Yeah. If you can just come past and do one of those, like behind, like just in frame, and like we'll do a split focus, like where you're like 30 feet behind Eddie Redrum, and you're just coming.
And then we cut you behind. We'll also have you behind Amanda Seyfried in the same cut.
Yeah, you're going to be in both shots. Yeah, because clearly you're into both of them.
Yeah.
I bet I've already lost my feet, so I bet my kneecaps that he would do it.
You need your legs! God damn it.
Joe, what worked for you for story?
Oh, fuck. Sorry, I just literally took a sip of Baker's Mark because you were asking me that. No, I like it, actually.
Why is there scotch?
I mean, that's the real question. Oh, God, what worked for me?
I like the boat scene, to be honest. The opening really worked for me.
The opening was quite the spectacle.
Mm-hmm. I really was like, fuck Russell Crowe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I think that did a good job of establishing fuck Russell Crowe. Like that did a really good job of pointing out like what an asshole Javert is.
Yeah.
Especially just like from the moment that you hear Jean Valjean say that he stole a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
And Javert's still like, if I fucking find you, if you do anything online, like I am gonna be on you like white on rice.
Yeah.
Like it. Like from that moment, it's like, man, fuck 12. Just like a cab right here. Just
yeah.
So I think that worked. The other thing that really worked for me was the candlesticks. The recurring visual motif of the candlesticks. So we mentioned that Jean Valjean steals all that silver from that priest, and he's caught. But when he's brought back to the priest is like, yeah, I absolutely gave him all of that. But my dear friend, you left so early. You forgot to take the best of it. And he comes back with those 2 silver candlesticks and is like, you must use this for good. And that's when he has like his epiphany and his turn. And it's like the inciting incident for him to become a much better person. Mm-hmm. Even though he stole fucking bread to save a child's life, he was a fine person.
Yeah.
Anyway. No, I don't have any feelings about that at all. But they keep popping back up. Yeah. They pop up like 3 or 4 times throughout the course of the film, and it's always whenever he's having a crisis of faith. Mm-hmm. It's like he goes back and he sits by them, and they're like the last time they pop up, it's him and Amanda Seyfried, and they're talking about Eddie Redrum. I'm just assuming. I'm just like, I've accepted that that's his name now.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Just talking about like this boy and this and what all's happening, and he's just like sits down next to them, and like they're just unobtrusively in frame
Yeah.
while he's front and center. And it's just like it's fascinating to me. Like Tom Hooper of all people had the foresight to like center to frame things that way and allow that motif to continue throughout the entire film. Like that was smart.
Yeah.
That was good filmmaking. Where is that in so much else
For the
in
rest of
this
it.
and in Cats?
Were they at the end when he died? Spoiler
Oh,
alert.
you know
Spoiler
what?
alert.
I forgot to look.
I at that point, everyone, you're just sort of like, you know what's coming. You're like,
Yeah.
it's the end. We're almost through this.
Just go to sleep and die, sir.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem there because like I should have been looking for that, or if they're
Yeah.
not there, they should be there.
They should be there.
That damn it! Now I have to rewatch that scene.
You might have to rewatch the whole thing.
I want you to tweet every time you see a candelabra. It doesn't matter if Hugh Jackman's in the scene or not.
Yeah, I'd be our guest.
It's hard. I was looking through Tom Hooper's filmography, and it's wild to see the IMDb scores that he has because they're all above 6, right? Which is pretty good for a director.
Stupid.
It's like 6, 7. I think King's Speech is 8, and then you get the Cats and it's 2.7. Like, wow, was that a dip?
Yeah.
One of these things is not like the other.
Like, I don't necessarily. It's hard for me to say I don't think he's a bad director because I've seen Cats, and I also know how he was to the
Visual effects team
behind the screen.
I'd like to read more about the actual production of this to see like how does that compare? Because these are the only 2 musicals he's done, to my knowledge, right?
I believe so.
I think so.
Did he treat the visual effects team the same way for this as he did for Cats? Did he treat the crew that way? Did he treat the cast that way at all?
I want to say that there was definitely some visual effects on this film,
Oh, absolutely.
but I don't think they were as quote unquote groundbreaking. Like what the visual effects team had to do for Cats was way harder.
Yeah.
And not done before.
God, yeah.
The visual effects for this were far more grounded.
Yeah, it's like make this building here that wasn't here.
Yeah.
Right.
And some of it's a little exaggerated. Like you see a lot of buildings that are like leaning in and like at exaggerated angles, like not quite to like Tim Burton levels, but like they're you notice them.
Outside of the opening, there really isn't anything all too crazy. But like the ship,
The ship is probably the biggest one, for sure.
Yeah, like as soon as that scene opened, I'm like, god damn, it's another like computer, like almost entirely computer generated film.
And thankfully, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah. Couldn't do that for Cats.
As far as story goes for me, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm gonna read the book, but I feel like if I had read the book, if I read the book, if I'm ever like trapped in a cabin in the middle of the woods, that's the only book that they have, and I have to read it. Maybe I might just, I don't know, count.
I would check to see if there's toilet paper first.
Right.
If there is, I'll crack it open.
I'll read the toilet paper. This is shorter.
Yeah.
It's a mega roll.
2-ply. I feel like given the room to develop characters and story and environment, I would enjoy this story more. And there are aspects of it in this movie/show that, like, I can see the big picture and I like the big picture. The presentation of it, I did not enjoy, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I like the rich versus poor. I like the revolution
aspect. I do like, I like the class angle of it. I like I like that they didn't try to do like a grandiose like French Revolution kind of thing, because I don't think Tom Hooper would handle that responsibly. But the fact that he went with the June Rebellion, it's something that is much more contained. It's something that's much more. I mean, I shouldn't say that he went with, like Victor Hugo went with, but has carried through every adaptation of this. I'm glad he didn't try to shift it to something that it wasn't, and do something he is, bite off more than he could possibly chew. No, arguably, maybe he did a little bit, but I like that it's contained. It is, it's sad, it's unfortunate, but I think like this is maybe more of a Les Mis problem that is a Tom Hooper's Les Mis problem. That the revolutionary nature of it maybe doesn't carry through quite as much. But the fact that those themes are there and presented so front and center, and I think there's something to be said for that.
That is, yeah. And all of the themes are very much. You don't have to search for it.
No.
They very much lay it out for you. They're like, this is what you're about to see.
Yeah.
Here you go.
It's not trying to be subtle in a lot of
Mhm.
ways.
The first, it's hard to break it up into acts because I don't actually know where the act breaks are or where they should.
Yeah, I don't know if Tom Hooper knows what the word act means, man. Even I haven't seen any of his like non-musical work, but
Have you seen King's Speech?
I haven't. No, I want to
Haven't
though
either.
because I love Colin Firth. But
I want to say that's the same year. It's the same year I was dating the actress we were speaking about earlier.
Yes.
It was a very memorable year.
Yeah.
'Cause I think Black Swan came out that year, and I was like, why is this not winning?
I fucking love
Right.
Black
She was
Swan.
like, I really like this movie. I'm like,
I
bet.
bet you do.
I really identify with this character.
Yeah, just watching it caressing.
Right.
Oh no!
She's like, I don't really think she's the bad guy. I'm like, well,
What? Oh, what did she actually say that?
I can't remember, but if she
I wouldn't
didn't,
be
she said
surprised.
worse.
Yeah.
But I remember watching King's Speech. I'm like, I didn't enjoy this as much as Black Swan.
Yeah.
Also, I wouldn't expect Black Swan to win Best Picture. Whereas King's Speech was a safer movie to pick. It was good. Like it wasn't. It surprises me that like the first two movies I watched by Tom Hooper was King's Speech followed by Cats.
That's a jump.
Yes. Like Les Mis feels way closer to King's Speech than does Cats.
Yeah, I think you can see a through line from like an actual film narrative to a movie musical to I just did way too much acid.
And how much of that was him picking a terrible subject matter versus like him fucking up a terrible subject matter it's difficult to say.
Yeah, that's fair.
So let's jump ahead to actors.
Mhm.
Or no, I'm sorry. What didn't work for story?
I think condensing all of the plot lines into how long was it?
2 hours and 15 minutes.
2 hours and 15 minutes? 50. Okay. I was gonna say that didn't feel right.
Right.
Condensing all of it down into one movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Was not like one of the bathroom breaks I took because we took many because we had to. We're human.
There were a couple, yeah.
But I was thinking, I was like, man, what if like it almost like feels like it wants to be. It feels like it wants to be longer, which thank God it's not. But if it were to be, I would appreciate having maybe even parts, like a part 1 and a part 2.
Interesting.
Not entirely sure if I'd watch them.
Kind of like Angels in America, where you
or even like if you think about it in the terms of like a trilogy, almost like a Lord of the Rings type, Hobbit type, like breaking it up. But can that story sustain multiple sections? I don't know.
But I
think we get those fleshed out characters. Like movie 1 is all Anne Hathaway, Hugh Jackman, Javert, and baby girl. Baby girl goes that.
Yeah. I think if
very little baby cassette.
Very small. I mean, that's how it is in the show too. It's like a little kid.
But in the anime,
a
ton of baby cassette.
That's the other thing we haven't really talked about. You mentioned there is an anime adaptation of this that you've said is beloved.
I have only gotten to watch the first episode because it's a little harder to find in the US. It's a longer series too. It's like 60 episodes. It's not like a shorter
60.
Wow.
But none of what I watched in the single episode was in the movie because it shows Anne Hathaway's character. She leaves Paris in search of work, and she has to make the hard decision of whether or not to leave her daughter Cassette with the
innkeepers.
And then that would be so cool.
Yeah, no, like it's not the typical anime that I would watch, but like I didn't not enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, and we'll get to this, I think, with the fix. But I think going longer, as weird as it feels, given that we watched a 3-hour fucking movie and hated it, might be the answer.
Yeah.
But I think. I agree 100%. There's too much information for the runtime.
Yeah, agreed.
watch the anime.
Yeah.
It has a gorgeous opening song, and
Oh, I don't doubt that for a second.
It's
Yeah.
anime.
I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try to track that down.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like the idea of this being longer like kind of hurts,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it does feel like the thing that makes the most sense because so much of it is truncated, and so much of it is shortened, and suffers for it. I
Yeah.
think.
I would like to be given the time to make up my own mind about caring about these people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas in the movie, I don't get the time, and
Therefore, I don't.
I don't care.
Right. Especially the back half of the movie. The first
Yeah.
half,
Very-
like,
yeah,
I kind
very
of, and I do
much.
care about Hugh Jackman's character a little bit.
Yeah.
I care about Anne Hathaway's character.
That section feels fleshed out.
Yeah.
I mean, and that is also, again, how it is in the musical. It's very much.
So, like, we watched Heaven's Gate just
did,
recently
yeah.
for another episode that we did for well, as of this recording, our most recent episode, and there's an intermission 2 hours into that film, and there's another like hour and 40 minutes that follows that.
Mhm.
It's a long ass fucking movie, but like it does the characters the service that it needs,
Mhm.
arguably. This, I feel like,
It does the song service.
it
but
does
not
the
characters.
it does the song service, but not the characters. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah.
And I think just given the way songs and musicals work, if you do better service to the characters, you're doing better service to the song.
100%.
Let's
Man,
move on.
I'm drunk and I can figure this out. Come on.
Let's move on to actors. Who we've kind of already covered this, so we can breeze past it a little bit. But who are the actors that work for you?
Anne Hathaway.
Easily. Yeah.
Sacha Baron Cohen, Helena Bonham Carter.
Absolutely.
Who, by the way, I don't think they actually mentioned their names once, but they are the Thenardiers.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they did mention their names at all.
But I don't think they also mentioned them in the musical either. You just
Oh,
see
yeah?
them in the program, so you just know that that's who they
Sure.
are. Eponine, Samantha Barks.
Ebony was excellent.
I really enjoyed Eddie Redrum's
Friend, Aaron Tveit.
The other,
Yeah.
the other revolutionaries, I think, that weren't Eddie Redmayne or the child,
Yeah.
I think worked really
Like,
well.
Maybe that's the point of it, but like Eddie Redmayne didn't feel like he was all that invested in the revolution.
No, I mean, and then given that's part of his character's struggle for a little bit,
But we don't.
but it,
Outside of his grandfather being like, you bring disgrace on your family,
Right, yeah.
yeah,
on your house. Other than that, you get nothing.
yeah, until you don't get like it's mentioned there, and then it's abandoned until he wakes up from after having been dragged through the sewer,
French press.
after being dragged through a French press.
Yeah. He was French press.
He got him. Jesus Christ. Like it's not brought up again until he wakes up out of that, and his grandfather's like looking down on him, and it's just like, oh my boy, you're here, and then they're just fine.
Yeah.
For the rest of the film, through his wedding, through all that.
Oh, that was his dad.
That was his grandpa again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extra weird when I said they should kiss that.
I don't think it was.
So, yeah. So for
That's what Les
reference,
Mis needed.
for reference, Eddie Redmayne's character wakes up out of his like gunshot wound, Paris sewer sepsis to see his grandfather through blurry vision, and Jack goes, "Now kiss."
It would have been cute. I just didn't know they were related.
I think it would have too.
Oh, good lord!
Yeah.
Shut up.
I think Lee missed you to be gayer. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's really
Oh,
why Jafar's so
I
sad.
mean, well,
He just needs to get laid.
he just needs to get laid.
well, we
by
could
Hugh
go,
Jackman.
we could go back to the.
It's just sexual frustration.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Come on,
It's not about
Fr-
the bread.
Two
come on, former
Wolverines.
former prisoner and former prisoner,
Oh,
just
yeah.
fuck it out.
Yeah.
Wolverine and Wolverine.
Well, Ryan Reynolds
Sick.
jerks off in the corner.
I found my TikTok.
Oh,
Where were we?
So we were talking about actors.
Oh, right.
We were talking about actors who do and don't work. Though you did just bring something up that we could go back story-wise. You mentioned while we were watching it that the entire Eddie Redrum Cosette Eponine storyline, that love triangle, could be completely resolved with polyamory.
Yeah,
That's just-
Yeah, that's right.
and we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The French are very progressive.
The British French.
The British French, yes.
There's something that doesn't work for me, actor-wise or story-wise. Fucking everyone except for Sacha Baron Cohen selectively has fucking British
Yes.
and or Cockney accents.
in
Like-
France.
Thick cock.
Yeah,
Too.
Yeah.
hard.
And again, that's apparently like a Les Mis problem.
Yeah,
And
it is. Every show I've ever seen it's always been British, and
Why?
It's
I
set
have
in
no
Paris.
idea. I have no idea. I don't know what it is. I don't know if maybe
It's
the
set in
original
Paris.
show was like maybe it was in the West End first, and then I don't know.
I think
But,
I looked it up,
like-
and I think it was presented in France initially.
Okay, so I did look that up earlier. So in 1980, the first musical adaptation of Les Mis was in French in France,
Okay, that
Uh,
makes
and then
sense.
and then
I buy
in
that.
and then in excuse me. In 1985, that's when it hit Britain. That's when an English
Okay.
musical was first done for Les Mis.
All right.
And hold on, wait 1 second.
Sure.
That would track. Where'd you get your pop socket? Is that what that's called? Pop
Yeah.
socket?
I think I just got it off Amazon.
I finally got like I got like I got the big phone. I got no hands. And so like I'll go like be typing and have to do like this thing.
That's the entire reason I have it. Because I
Move it.
Okay.
Mistakes were made.
Okay, so 1985 it opens October 8th by the Royal Shakespeare Company at the Barbican Theater, or Barbican Center. So that is, I believe that is in the West End.
Royal Shakespeare Theatre Company is in London.
Is in London.
Yeah, I would assume it's West End.
if you know where the is located, write in at DeRazzled podcast at DeRazzledpodcast.edu. What the fuck is that? I don't know where an email is.
It's DeRazzledPodcast@gmail.com.
That's what I
Did
said.
you did you say
EDU.
EDU?
It's an education.
At fucking DeRazzled University.
Who knows where things could go?
It's been a weird year, guys. We run the university now.
I get some gold for the deleted scenes. Jesus Christ.
Fantastic.
That would track though. Like if it started over there, and I think that's brilliant that it started over in Britain, and then it came over here, and people were like, "Oh, it's a British musical." It's
And-
not.
It's a very stupid American thing to
Yeah, it
happen.
is.
All
Yeah.
Americans are Sims 4.
Plotty law. Yeah, but no, I do believe that's probably how it happened. That they were like, "Oh, we all need to be British now." But yeah, every show I've ever seen, they've been British. Whereas, and I'm not saying that I need them to have French accents. I'm saying just let them speak however it is that they speak, and
I want
we'll go
Australian on
unaddressed.
Australian.
That would be Hugh Jackman on Russell Crowe.
Good day, mate. My name is Jean Valjean. We just lost our entire Australian audience.
Goodbye to that one listener.
Bye, Ewan.
What? Where's Anne Hathaway from? Maybe I'll just
She's American.
Yes. All right. Any other actors who didn't work before we move?
Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe did not work
Okay,
at all.
No, not at all.
Russell Crowe. Amanda Seyfried didn't really work for me, but I don't know if it's because it's her voice just isn't. It's the only. It stands out so much as not fitting in with everyone else.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's her vibrato. It's crazy.
She's so absurdly high pitched the entire time, and the rapid vibrato. Like I swear, if my bones were made of crystal, I'd be hospitalized right now.
Yeah.
All the dogs for like a mile radius are freaking out.
I want her to put out a solo album where she's playing like the harp and like indie covers, and I would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
For Les Mis?
For Les Mis, her voice doesn't work for me.
No.
I think she is like a legitimate good actress. Like,
Yeah.
I've
I
never
love her.
not
Yeah.
enjoyed her.
And they I think some of her stuff was cut. And that to be honest, I don't think that role's very well written. It seems to be a plot point for other people.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
opposed to being her own independent.
In the anime, you get a lot more. But no, she's absolutely, both in her younger narration and her older version, she's a plot point. Like she's a plot device. I mean, so yeah, she didn't have a whole lot to do other than be like, oh, she's the reason Hugh Jackman has a purpose and Eddie Redrum has a boner, and like that's it. And she sings like Snow White.
Yeah,
she does sing like Snow White. Yeah. Which in other cases might not be that bad a
Right,
thing, but it does not fit for this.
Yeah, especially when everyone else is like
is not singing
not
like
like
Snow White.
Yeah.
What about production? What worked for you for production? I'm gonna go first because I loved the camera work in this movie.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed the camera work. There's a lot of close-ups. There's a lot of actors being framed in the lower third. There's a lot of there's very few wides. There's a lot of long shots as well. Like I for the most part, I really enjoyed the editing. Overall in the film, it's probably the thing I enjoyed the most was the way it was shot.
Okay.
That's I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's funny though because it got a lot of backlash for being made fun of for being the movie of too many close-ups, especially during songs and stuff. I remember when it came out, people were like blowing up on the internet about like, you know, like seeing the snot and Anne Hathaway's. You know, a lot of the solo stuff was very much boom, but I appreciated it. I was like, let me see this actor act.
There were times where I thought it really worked. Anne Hathaway in particular, and I think early Jean Valjean, like after he's been, whenever he has his crisis after being forgiven by the priest for stealing.
The thing where he's walking back and forth in the church.
Or I think they could have pulled back from him a little bit during that from time to time. Maybe like done some high angle stuff to show like how insignificant he's feeling. But a lot of the close up work in that is excellent.
And you know what I think it is it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To be that close to Anne Hathaway and Hugh Jackman during those moments where they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think people tend to react to vulnerability with humor, such as "Oh, snotty." Which you was.
Yeah.
There was
like I was uncomfortable during that song, but I felt like I should have been.
You should be uncomfortable during that song because it's an uncomfortable song.
Yeah.
Like this woman's been through fucking hell. You shouldn't feel comfortable during that.
Yeah, you don't want to feel good. Be like, oh, what a nice.
And like,
I just watched this woman sell her teeth. Like, sure, I should feel great about that.
What a lovely ditty.
Right.
Just
it's not a pretty scene either. And
no, it shouldn't be. No.
And I think that once you leave that specific timeline, they ease up on the close-ups a little bit. Which I think works.
It does work. I agree with you there. Now, it's interesting to me that people make fun of the snottiness of that because that is not at all something that I noticed with Anne Hathaway in this. Jump ahead to 2019 with poor Jennifer Hudson and Grisabella. And she's nothing but snot over that CGI cat fur. It's ridiculous. And her performance was great too.
No, she was fine. It was just the suspension of disbelief was not there.
Exactly. Yeah. Like
this, it was.
Yeah.
very much so. I think it also really worked with the Samantha Barks in her song, the one
Yes.
that with. I mean, and it was barely anything. It was she walked up the thing, the little alleyway, went and then sort of leaned against the wall and then crumbled.
It was
I'm
a
like-
little suspicious that it was suddenly raining.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
the rain
pretty.
did start. I mean,
But-
granted, I think literally they were like, because obviously when you see the show, it's not raining.
Right.
But there are
Cue the
lines-
water cans, Jerry.
There are lines in the song about rain. That's what
Okay.
they were like.
Ah,
"Oh, we better
okay.
put some rain in here."
Okay, I can forgive that.
Yeah,
Then.
yeah.
That's, you know.
If they had started it drizzling in the scene prior, I think it would have been fine.
That would have been a better transition.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, it's very nice. I do
Yeah.
like it. The rain coming down on cobble street roads, kind of pooling in the middle. Loved it.
Visually fantastic. Yeah.
Um,
That's the thing that like almost kills me about this. It's like there is a lot of good to pull out of this movie. Not Oscar nomination good, mind you, but like not sure what just happened.
Caleb was trying to be nice and not make any noise for the.
Oh, I got you.
It's a little drink in my scotch glass.
Yeah, let's.
What? Oh, there was, and I'm not. There were some slow songs where I couldn't give a fuck, and I was just like reading about Tom Hooper. It's a bit of a trademark of his to have that kind of close up. They described it as very 70s, which like I wouldn't describe it as that personally, but I
No.
could also. There was a lot of Dutch angles that you normally would not see.
True. We
Which-
did notice a few of those throughout the film. I thought it was a little jarring that one of those popped up in the like apartment conversation between where Jean Valjean reveals himself to Eddie Redmayne.
Yes,
That felt like a weird place to put one, but like it
some
was
worked, some didn't.
some worked, some didn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
But overall, the cinematography, the lighting, all really worked for me. Some of the color grade didn't quite work. It was a bit
Muddied.
muddied, but not enough for me to be like, yeah, fuck that shit.
Fair.
I agree with that. Did anything else work for me?
I don't know that anything else worked for me, honestly. I think we've covered it pretty effectively.
The group vocals, because obviously those were not recorded live, and we can do that with the next section. But especially with the end of Act 1 song "One Day More" and the finale. Obviously, those had to have been pre-recorded because not everyone, that just,
Right.
the balance would have been like totally off. But
Oh my god.
that was those songs were vocally nice.
Yeah.
I can't think of maybe the sets worked. The ones that were there.
The actual physical like indoor sets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said for that.
And the computer ones weren't super jarring. They were a little jarring.
There were moments where they were jarring, sure. I don't think any of them were like woof.
Right.
But-
Not like
A
cats.
lot
where
of
I'm like, what the fuck is
I think a lot of Anne Hathaway's scenes, I feel like they might have actually been more or less sets built in, like her on the stairs and all that stuff. I feel like it happened, like in one day. With like they were like, "Hey, we built this shithole."
that entire set felt theatrical.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I don't feel like some of the other sets, especially later during the rebellion. I'm like, okay, I could see like walking down this alleyway and
Sure.
encountering this type of thing. Whereas hers was a little bit more of a heightened reality.
The way that like the other sex workers emerged from like that wall of windows and
Yes.
doors
Yeah.
and such. So yeah, it felt very, very dramatic.
Then she like enters the ship into the I don't know.
Her house.
I don't know if it was a house. It looked kind of. I don't know if it was
Her
metaphorically a
little
or
coffin
actually a
bed.
coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Felt very much like a stage, but not in
Yeah.
a negative way.
They didn't have goth as a concept at the time, so just
They were building the foundation for goth, except for the goths who
Yeah.
actually built
Foundation for Goth. Just-
Uh,
there's a hot topic on the spot of this film set right now.
Great. We're all doing the best work of our careers. Let's take a break, run some ads, drink some more, and come back and fix this shit.
Hell yeah. Oh, good lord.
Alright, I gotta narrow down my chauffeur replacement. I really like the idea of moving people around for that other guy, though.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
Freddy, I mean.
I agree. I think that's the way to go there because I didn't hate him.
No,
I think that
it's terrible.
I just think for his level of musical prowess and whatnot, I think that maybe this isn't the time to make him like a lead in that scene.
And for his like character importance, like, and it might just be like the writing of that character. We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. Yeah. We're on break.
How long was that second section?
I'm bad at math, but we're up to like an hour and 54 minutes. Editing's the thing. It's fine.
They're doing Star Wars Return of the Jedi in concert today
Ooh,
and yesterday.
that's fun.
I've always like been curious when they do those like movie things at the Heinz Hall. Because they did a John Williams one time, and I would have loved to have gone to that, but I found out about it 2 days after. It was
I
over.
might have actually gone to one of those.
Every now and then they have these like really big like they did a Jesus, what's the Nightmare Before Christmas guy?
Danny Elfman?
Yes.
Yeah.
They did a Danny Elfman night.
He's
That
done a
would have been-
surprising amount. There's stuff that he's done that I did not realize was him.
Yeah, me too. I watched I went down a rabbit hole because I watched the movies that made us for Nightmare Before Christmas. And I was like, he is fascinating. Watching his interviews and that, I was like, who are you, sir? What's up? What can I help you with?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
he's wild.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I love his stuff. I've never heard anything. He did the Desperate Housewives theme. Like,
What?
yeah, he's the Desperate Housewives theme. He wrote
That's
that.
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know why. Just cause.
Oh,
I was
Mark.
like, yeah, they were like, hey, you know what we could use? a Danny Elfman intro. And now that I listen to it and I'm like, know kind of like his style a little bit, I'm like, yeah, it sounds like him.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah. He's everywhere. I wish I'd figure out who the K-pop, or not K-pop, the Funko Pops are.
Beetlejuice, Pennywise.
The Halloween, what is it? I know the movie, but I can't think of what it's called. Little.
Is it Sam from Trick or Treat?
Yes, Trick or Treat. That's
Yeah.
what it is. I don't know what's beside him. Is it the witch?
Yeah, I can't get a good view of that from this angle. I'm not sure what that one is. I know Elvira's over there.
Yeah. Cousin It's down there. Lurch is down there.
Excellent.
Bruce Campbell.
Also great.
I'm not sure about who's behind Bruce Campbell. I'm not sure who's the gray hair, but it might be Anthony Perkins. Is that Psycho? I don't know if you can see it. From here.
The light, the LED here is kind of
Yeah.
obscuring my view.
It's a gray. It looks like a gray wig.
Like I can see the gray hair and I can see the eyes. I can't see anything else about that character.
It's gray hair, eyes, and it looks like there's a bloody knife.
Mm,
And
that feels like
a
a
dress, but I'm thinking Anthony Perkins.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate.
And
Then
then the devil goat behind it.
the devil goat,
Yeah, we're down there.
like Black Phillip.
And I don't know who those two are.
A friend of mine did a cross stitch of Black Phillip, and around the goat face it says, "Would you like to live, Moss?" I think there's some other Taco Bell reference around it, but
It's good. I'm proud of him as a person.
Way to go, bud.
Little guy. Are you an Ozark fan?
I've seen the first season, but I haven't watched anything since then.
I watched the first episode maybe 4 or 5 times over the course of however long it's been on. I don't know. And I just finally was able to like actually power through. Like, it's very grayscale, and so like when you're watching it, you're
Yeah.
like, it's just, and it's heavy.
Yeah.
And so like getting through season 1, I was like, oof, like I'm really not feeling great. And I did the first 3 seasons because I was trying to catch up because I knew the new one was coming out.
Yeah.
And I did all of it. I came out of it and was finally like ready. Didn't watch the 4th season. It's like I just can't. I need time to
Yeah,
like
that's
become
fair.
a person again. So I just finished part 1 of the season yesterday, and I'm just like, man,
Like,
it's depressing.
I've got a pretty big tolerance for like depressing media. Like the first time I watched Breaking Bad, I immediately started watching Breaking Bad again. Went right back to the beginning.
Yeah.
And like my partner and I at the time watched through the entire thing. We're like, holy shit, that was amazing. I was like, I need to watch this again. And she was like, have fun.
It's a lot.
Mhm.
It's a lot.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
I've gotten to a point now where I'm just like, oh, maybe I need to ease off of that and like stop breaking myself so damn much. But god damn if it's not good.
Yeah.
Like,
It's brilliant.
mm,
I mean, that's yeah. I mean, if a show is good, I'll definitely stick with it. And I'll,
yeah. If it sucks and is also horribly depressing, then it's like, no, fuck this. I'm not
Yeah.
giving this the time of day.
Yeah, I can't. Please.
Like, at least give me a good narrative. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. There are some shows I got like super into this one show. I mean, and I'm gonna finish it. I watched it was on it's called Search Party on HBO.
I've heard of it. Yeah, that's with Aliyah Shawkat,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and she's great. And it's
I love her.
every season is so vastly different while still
Okay.
following the same storyline. But there's
Sure.
a different theme to each season.
I gotta watch that.
And it's great. But this last one is just like it's annoying.
Really?
It's supposed to be.
Okay.
But it's annoying. Search Party? I've heard of it.
It's apparently on HBO.
And it's got like, and I just got to a point, I think I'm only on episode 2, but episode 2 and on, I guess, is like heavy with Jeff Goldblum, who I
Oh, beautiful.
adore.
Yeah. Love me
And
some.
I'm just like,
I have the man tattooed
yeah,
on me.
did you get a free tattoo on Jeff Goldblum?
No, I paid for it,
Oh.
but I did. It was the second Jeff Goldblum day.
Nice.
Oh wait, no, it was the first Jeff Goldblum day. I wasn't there for the second one because he was there for the second one. And I couldn't make it. But yeah, I have.
Show she do it?
Huh?
Did show she do it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They organized the whole fucking thing. It was their idea
Nice.
basically. If I'm not mistaken, they actually got tattooed by Jeff Goldblum in that episode. And they cut because they did that as part of his National Geographic series that's on Disney Plus now, and they didn't include Shoshi's scenes in that episode, and thus I have not watched the second season of that show.
No, perfect.
But yeah, I have a tattoo on the back of one of my legs. It's Jeff Goldblum's head on the body of a fly.
I like that. I have a Jeff Goldblum pillow.
Nice.
It's just a picture of his face doing this.
Perfect.
Why? I don't know, but my dad got it for me for Christmas.
I got Belinda
Thank
a
you.
Jeff Goldblum pillow for Christmas.
Oh.
It's the Jurassic one.
So that
Perfect.
one also is heavily ingrained in my psyche.
Oh, that's amazing.
I've loved Jeff Goldblum ever since I did this like short film. They're like really, really short film with these dudes. And we went downtown to this like smaller film company. And the sound dude was like, yeah, I just worked with Jeff Goldblum the other day. Because we're talking about like what actors he's dealt with that like are awesome, which ones suck. And he was saying like, yeah, Jeff Goldblum was really cool. He came in, I think he was working on like The Music Man or something. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna run like run my monologue for you. Like, let me know if this works. Like, ran the monologue for this. It was a sound guy.
Yeah.
He was like doing like voiceover sound. and he's like, Mr. Goldblum, I really think you should run the play your director. I'm just some guy that has nothing to do with the project. He's like, yeah, but what'd you think? Would it work better this way or this way?
Yeah, but I really want your opinion.
Right. I won't say who he thought was a douchebag on live, but I'll tell you guys later.
That's fair. Yeah. All right, are we ready to jump back in for the end here?
Oh, you betcha.
Oh, yeah, betcha, yeah. Having sex with a little feller. Uh-oh. The warmth is now here.
Yeah, I feel it.
I started feeling come back up with like pizza stomach acid.
Oh no!
Pizza up on top of that. We're back down.
We're gonna cover that up.
A little bubbly, and now we're gonna put some more whiskey on top of that. Fargo. Am I right?
Fargo.
What a hell of a movie.
Love it. I've not seen the show at all.
I haven't either.
I watched the first episode of the first season, and I was like, this is very good.
Just talking about that. That's how I was with Ozark, and I just finally. But I was like, I watched the first episode so many times to be like, I'm gonna get into it.
I watched the first episode of Fargo like 3 times. I'm like, it's very good. I don't know why.
I don't know why I didn't just like
it.
Yeah.
But like life has been like, nah, you gotta do something over here. I'm like,
yeah, gotta rewatch.
And like
30 Rock for the 20th.
You know what? I have a right. Oh, God, 30 Rock is so good.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's where my life lives. It's where I thrive.
I have a very important question for our podcast listeners.
Yes.
Ewan McGregor? Ian McGregor.
Ewan.
Yeah, it's like you get a little bit of the E.
Yeah.
For a skosh of a second.
Ewan.
This fella.
Ewan.
He
Slide.
What the fuck were we talking about? No, train spotting, not
Oh, I thought you were pointing at the penguin. It's right
no. Yeah, this is Fight Club. That's train spotting.
You have a stack of DVDs you're pointing at.
I do. You're right. These were like all the movies I considered watching the other day. I was like, fuck, I need to watch a movie like I own. I picked out like all these different movies, and then I ended up watching Hollywoodland, which like wasn't bad, but not. I mean, these are all like pretty well known.
Yeah, that's a departure.
And then I was like, I want to watch Ben Affleck be fat in Superman, and sad. I didn't not enjoy it.
Yeah. Everyone has that like one I do that same thing. I'll like pull out like a bunch of DVDs and I'm like, my cousin Vinny.
To be fair, that's a great choice.
I've never gotten to watch my cousin. I want to.
What?
It looks like everything I know about it is phenomenal. It's never been like
It's spectacular.
I need to watch a movie tonight, and that never like pops into my head.
It is like it's so much better than you would expect it to be.
It really is.
Joe Pesci, Marissa Tomei,
Fred Gwynn,
fucking
Ralph
Herman
Macchio.
Munster, man. Just
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's really it. I forget who the prosecutor is, but he's also someone you would know him
yeah.
if you saw him.
I forget the actor's name, but yeah, you would recognize
He's
him.
in a lot of stuff like in the 80s, early
And, like,
90s.
From what I understand, it's pretty accurate to law.
Well, they use Marissa Tomei's testimony in law schools to this day.
It was just bonkers.
Yeah.
We were starting the show back up. Then
We get sidetracked by
What
your
else
point.
do we have
I wasn't
back
sure what
here?
you were pointing
You're gonna
to.
shoot it, see it?
Belle de jour. I was gonna watch The Lives of Others, but it's a little too topical currently.
Fair.
We'll take a little sip. Hey, let's fix this fucking movie, eh?
All right.
I have 2 suggestions.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's, as we've discussed, I don't think it's a terrible film. I think it tries to cram in too much.
Yeah.
I think HBO should buy the rights to the musical, split it into a 4-part series.
Oh, we're going
Each-
limited series.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Each episode, an hour 10.
Hmm. I can handle that with credits.
Because I want to say Angels in America was HBO.
Yeah,
It
but
was, but
it
it was
was.
it was a two-parter.
It was a
believe.
two-part.
I
Yeah.
think so.
But the play itself is also in two parts.
Yeah.
Angels of America might have been 6.
It might have been 6.
I think it was 6. Yeah.
I've only ever seen the first part of Angels in America.
Oh.
Where like
Oh my god, dude.
It does.
where like the
Things do change.
spoilers for Angels in America, but like it ends with an angel like descending.
Yeah.
I've seen the movie adaptation or series adaptation, and then I've seen it live, and I'm like, I have no idea what happens after that.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. So the play is a two-parter
Mhm.
between Millennium Approaches and Perestroika.
Yes.
And you are correct. The HBO series was a six-parter.
6. Okay.
so 3 and 3.
I
Yeah.
feel like it did.
That makes sense.
I do
I'm
remember.
like, that would
I
be
feel like it
took
took
a
a while.
while
Yeah.
to like cram 2 plays.
'Cause
into
it's-
2 episodes.
It's not to not to go back to my cousin Vinny, but it's dead on balls accurate.
You nailed Marissa Tomei's accent in that moment. Like it just sent me back. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's basically the script.
Yeah, no,
Which I appreciate.
so I think that HBO, especially if it were made today with HBO Max,
Oh yeah.
could do a 4 to 6 part series, adding in more of Hugo Weaving's book.
Hold on. Victor Hugo. No, fucking Agent Smith didn't write this, all right? No, I'm not going to let that one stand. That was.
But I have to say that as you said, I'm looking at you. I'm like, oh, his book, yeah.
Oh, right.
I
Yes.
bought it. I was there with you.
Agent L. Ron Van Red Skull, yes, absolutely wrote
The
this
look
book.
on your face was worth every ounce of my being awake today. Where the moment of realization,
I'm almost pissed off I'm in profile right now.
there's like you're like, and then you
Wait.
literally like shook your head like.
Oh, Christ.
Beautiful. I'm glad I lived another day. So HBO Max could add more of Victor Hugo's novel.
Yeah.
I would
go
even
weaving into the writer's room.
that he was not cast in some manner is upsetting.
I mean, honestly.
I don't know if he can sing or not, but like
They didn't ask that question with Russell Crowe.
right, precisely like
Yeah. The bar is pretty low.
like.
The fuck was that?
It was probably a gunshot. Anyway,
Oh, great. We'll listen for that in the edit.
When I watch an adaptation of something, I want there to be a difference.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to watch the same exact thing that I could experience in a different format.
Yeah, no, you want it to work for the medium.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go off on a tangent. Earlier we were talking about Mark Millar and Grant Morrison. Caleb, sorry, we're probably gonna leave you behind.
I'm gonna follow it.
Okay, thank you. I don't know how much you are into comic books.
Oh,
Great, cool. So Mark Millar is a comic book writer who's been very has done very well in film.
Yes.
He did Kick-Ass. He wrote Kick-Ass, the comic book. He did Kingsman. He did Wanted.
Yeah, a lot of his stuff has been adapted into films of varying success,
Right.
but overall, like none of them have been horribly panned.
enjoyable.
Hold on.
Yes.
Have I mentioned how much I hate sneezing?
I'm waiting for that third. I'm kind of surprised.
And honestly, it's usually 3 or 4
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
coming.
Oh, I was just waiting.
You know what's not a great novel to be reading while World War III is getting ready? Under the Dome
God damn it.
by Stephen King. It's a really long book, so I started reading it way before things were looking bad.
Yeah,
and it's only
now
become
you're
more
at a
relatable.
point. At a
Yeah.
point when you're like,
No,
Oh, shit might pop off. Let me read this.
Well, at the beginning of the pandemic, I started reading The Stand.
No.
You're an idiot. God damn it.
And thinking like, this will make it easier because it's more
Huh.
tongue in cheek, and
No,
you know
no,
what?
here's the thing is, you know what the stand's about. It would make more sense for an idiot like me who didn't know what it was about to be like, well, I got time now. Let me finally read this 1,000-page book.
Right.
Yeah, you know what it's about.
I did. That's my bad. No, Under the Dome, I had no idea. And I'm like, this is uncomfortably relevant. Anyway, so there's Grant Morrison and there's Mark Millar, and Grant Morrison used to be the mentor of Mark Millar. And Mark Millar writes a lot of comic books that have since been adapted into films or series. I think Netflix is currently working on a series for some comic book. It doesn't matter.
Something. I mean, everyone's got some adaptation of something
Something
in
going
regards
on
to
right
comics
now.
these days.
Uh,
Oh, shit. What the hell happened?
oh no, did we lose audio?
Oh, sweet Jesus. Okay. Hold on.
What else have I watched this month?
Nightmare Alley. Nightmare Alley is probably my favorite.
I
Oh,
heard
hold
it
on.
was
Shh,
really
shut up.
Okay, sure.
What the fuck? We lost a bunch of stuff.
How much?
From the moment that we were talking about Eddie Redmayne and whether or not he works as a character to just after we went to our last break, we lost.
So that was the what
Will work for character
production?
or what-
Production.
We lost the entire production discussion, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was the last character that we talked about. Because I think he was the only other one that didn't work.
Hold on. We might have lost more. Give me 1 second. Okay, there's the Victor Hugo shit. The Hugo Weaving shit. God damn it. Okay, so that is all we lost.
So from the end of talking about which actor did
Eddie
not work,
Redmayne.
which was Eddie Redmayne, till when?
Till we went to break.
Okay,
It
so
was the production stuff that worked. Because we didn't talk about production stuff that didn't work. I think we went to break.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think we talked about the stuff that didn't. I
That's
think we
weird.
just talked about
you
the
know, I
stuff we
think
did.
you're right. I think we
Yeah.
actually did.
Oh,
skip
yeah.
that.
And to be honest, I think we all said the same thing about production. It was the camera stuff.
I think we like gushed about the camera working.
Yeah.
Talked about
Might not
sets
be
for a
that
little bit.
So we talked
Yeah.
about the sets for a little bit. Jesus. Of course, this has to happen in the episode we did drunk for.
Right, I'm
Yeah.
like, brain not work great.
I brought up the vocals for at the very end, and then we went to a break.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
And
It's a
then
little chunk. We can,
when we come back-
we can recreate.
yeah, no, I'm not. If that's all we lost, I'm not too worried about it. Do you know what happened?
No, I have no idea what happened. I just looked at it and there was this blank space in the middle of the waveforms. Like a bigger blank than what I thought than what we're actually
right,
missing.
Right.
It was fucking weird. We've never had that happen in Reaper once. This is the first issue we've had.
The only time it ever had that happen was like way back before he started. We were doing a different podcast.
When we were using Audacity on Chromebook.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Chromebook doesn't get along with
I
it.
once deleted a 45-second section interview. Didn't realize it. Did a select all, and in GarageBand you can like select all and merge.
Right.
Yeah.
Merged it.
God.
So like there was no going back. I was like, oh. So I'm listening to it like on myself because I very rarely listen to my own. But I was like, this was a good one. And I listened to it. I was like, oh, why is this just completely blank space? And I fast forward. And I was like, it was just 45 minutes of blank space, and I had to go back in,
Oh my god.
edit it out, splice it together, and then resubmit it as an episode. I was like, man.
Whew. Are you able to play back the last of the Eddie Redmayne stuff so we know where like exactly where it left off?
Yeah, I have that.
Just so I can find like a cut point so that we can lead into re-recording the
Talking about how he maybe doesn't fit as like a male lead in that moment. His character importance might be the writing of that character. We'll get to it. And then it immediately cuts to we're on break.
okay. Did we talk about switching? Oh, I guess we didn't talk about that in general, about switching him out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can go straight into production, what worked, what didn't work.
Yeah, putting a split in there and a marker. New marker. Okay. Yeah, we can jump right into like talking about production stuff.
Cool.
And 3, 2, record.
So production,
Yes.
what worked? I would love to go first,
Please.
because I absolutely love the camera work in this film. Like as much as the film in general was me. Like I kind of hate how much I enjoyed the camera work in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of close-ups. There was a lot of like framing the actor in the like lower third, especially during these like bigger dramatic moments, especially in the first half of the film. You have a lot of Anne Hathaway, Hugh Jackman, and there are these very dramatic moments. Not only just like framed very tightly, but also not cut. It's just a long
One
take.
continuous shot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that throughout it. Like I know the part where she's getting her hair cut off.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
I mean, obviously that they really did cut her hair off because I think like at the actual, since she did win the Oscar, then she was pretty much,
Yeah.
not even at like pixie cut length at that point because it was like so recently. So yeah, they like fully did cut her hair off, and they were like, we can only do this once, so please get it right.
Please, yeah.
You know,
Dear Lord,
which
we'll have to wait like
makes
a
me
year
actually
and
like
a
her
half.
performance even more.
Right?
Oddly enough,
Please.
but it's the whiskey. We did Sweeney Todd, whoever the fuck knows when, and I was Tobias, the child. At, this was 2013. It was 2013. So like I'm still, I was 24. I was 24 at this time, and about roughly the same size I am now, a little bit smaller. So we were like, how do we justify me being the child? And it was like, we got to make him just a little bit, not quite all there. And at one point, somebody mentioned, was like, what if Toby had mange, which is a condition.
What if Toby had mange?
And
I just see
so
like one hand going up in the back of the auditorium, like, what if
Toby
Toby
had
had
mange. And
I like the way you think, Ben.
the director loved the idea, and they were like, would you be okay with that? And I was like, because I was like, I'm not trying to wear a wig. It's
Right,
like
right.
we did it in the Indiana movie theater where there is
Oh,
like air
Oh,
conditioning. I'm like, I'm not wearing a
no.
wig, and all this like, so I was like, we're gonna have to cut my hair, and I was like, we'll do it on one condition, and that is if we can release a promo video of me lip syncing to "I Dreamed a Dream," the Anne Hathaway song, in a bathtub while people cut my hair. And that video is currently on YouTube.
Oh, that's incredible.
We're gonna release that promo of this.
Yeah,
episode.
they
Oh,
halfway through they turn the shower on, so I'm just sitting there, just like with giant chunks of hair. It's like, anyway,
God.
that was the best production thing that I liked about Les Mis. But anyway, yes, the camera work on that one take is visually very stunning.
I think you're saying earlier that people initially had
Yeah.
a problem with those close-ups.
They were like, why is everything so close? Like Anne Hathaway's snotting over everything. But I like it really works for me. Like seeing the vulnerability of her, Hugh Jackman, even later on, Samantha Barks, when she has her song and she's sort of in the rain crumbling like under a bridge or whatever she was. And even Eddie Redrum, his song. I think we were all at that point, like, because it was so close to the end. It's the empty chairs, empty table song. We were talking about something.
Yeah, there was a newfound glory song at that point that reminded me of.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It was very much a close-up, like, side profile. And even just that side profile it worked. It helped propel the story and the song, even though I didn't care about him.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, I think especially like when you're talking about like the Anne Hathaway moments in particular, and the Jean Valjean moments after he has robbed the priest and has just been forgiven, and he's like kind of pacing back and forth, kind of mulling over his dilemma of like what to do now that he's been given this new opportunity before he rips up his papers. Like that, those scenes I feel like were the most effective. Like I think there are times in the Jean Valjean scene where you could kind of pull back and maybe do like a high angle thing to kind of show how insignificant he's feeling and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because like, some of those shots do last a little long, but god damn it, they work.
And
like
he was acting his heart out.
Yeah,
like
absolutely. Like that's the thing. Like you're getting all of that raw emotion, and you can see and feel so much of the conflict on him.
like we both acted on stage.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you've worked on film, but when we
To be French.
On stage, you have the benefit of building to the emotion.
Yeah.
On film, most times you don't.
Yeah. Like
You're doing like, all right, cut back to the beginning of that bit or dialogue or whatever, and do it again. With having these longer takes, you have the ability to build to that emotion, and you can see that in Jackman's performance in that scene specifically. Like he looks like he is in so much physical pain.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
That was another long continuous shot. If I recall, I don't think they ever cut away, because I remember at one point being like, they've got to like really get around him and then start like going back.
Yeah, it was
one of the
like
first-
you feel the physicality of that movement where like they're really close on him when he's on his knees there, and then he gets up and turns around, and they follow his movement
Yeah.
precisely. Like they don't lose that framing.
I think that what helps that also is the fact that this movie did something that was sort of different than other musicals before. It was that they did all of the singing in the moment live. as opposed to being pre-recorded in a studio for at least the main characters stuff. And so, especially for instances like that, you can hear it. You can, it wasn't a matter of like, well, now I have to lip sync to this thing that I sang 2 months ago in a studio where I didn't, I wasn't in the set, in the moment, anything like that. And so for him, that moment, super powerful. For some of the other people, no, it did not quite. Maybe some studio work would have been necessary.
Yeah, I think maybe that's the one thing that doesn't work about the production was the dedication to which they, like, Tom Hooper insisted they stick to that on-site, on-set vocalization, because with Russell Crowe in particular, it just does not work like 90% of the time. There are moments in his solo whenever he's singing low,
the lower stuff,
that
the
lower
slower
stuff, the lower slower stuff actually does work for him. But as soon as he tries to project, it's just ruined. And when and anytime he's singing with anyone else, when he's in a song of other people, just like his notes are flat, his voice stands out so much, worse, like in the worst way. He's like a sore thumb.
And to be honest, I think his performance falls a little flat in those moments too, because I think that he's never done anything like this before. He's got to feel a little out of his element.
100%.
I'm sure he trained with someone to do something, but
I don't doubt that for a second.
But that's another thing with Les Mis is like, especially the act one finale where it's like 7 different vocal lines all at the same time interweaving, and it's beautiful. Like for him to
until you get to stuff like this.
Yeah, and he's just by himself in a room with all these people looking at him. Like, you lose that. But to be in a room with everyone else is, it helps.
That energy.
Yeah.
I haven't ever done the reverse of this, where I am acting on camera to a vocal that I recorded previously. But I've done the reverse of that, where you do like ADR, where you've already done the performance, and then you go in and like maybe there's like a fucking plane overhead. And you have to redo that style. And it is incredibly difficult to get back to that head, because it's like months later. Sometimes it's a year later, and you're like, I guess I will kind of feign that emotion. So I do like the decision to, on Tom Hooper's part, to record the music on set the day it's happening. Unfortunately, for somebody like Russell Crowe, who needed the assistance, it didn't quite work.
Even some minor adjustments would have made a world of difference. But
just like putting it into some sort of program that could
zip it up,
right? Even just like skosh.
So I think, speaking to what you're saying earlier, I think that one of the reasons, maybe the main reason why people were giving Anne Hathaway shit for those close-ups, right? The snottiness. Same thing with Hugh Jackman, is the vulnerability can be uncomfortable to watch, especially when you are watching it in a single take, uncut, up close. Like when I was watching it, I was uncomfortable.
Right.
But you should be.
Right.
Yeah, you absolutely should be uncomfortable in those moments. Like, this woman just sold her fucking teeth. You just saw like the harrowing experience this woman has gone through, from like losing her job to selling her hair to like first off being outed as a sex worker before losing her job, and then selling body parts before she's like shown just in like the most awkward, uncomfortable, like unenjoyable sex scene I think I've ever seen in my life.
We watched Heaven's Gate, so I know you've seen worse, but.
Okay, that's a rape. I'm not counting that as a sex scene.
Fair enough.
But
this one borderlined on it. You were like, is it?
Yeah.
You gave her money. So
I mean, like you know the context of what's happening here,
right?
Just,
but I think when people have to be confronted with that, oftentimes they'll respond with humor, like with memory, which like I really understand.
I'm pretty sure she wasn't in that moment where she sits up and it's just like,
no doubt,
which is ironic as hell, I think, considering like now in 2022 we have the foresight of looking back to 2019 and thinking about Jennifer Hudson's performance in Cats, and how just disturbingly covered in snot she is, on top of all the CGI fur and everything, and her performance was still fantastic. Her voice was still on point.
I'm glad that the Academy was able to look past the memory and still give Anne Hathaway an Oscar for that.
Deserved.
Great. Hey, let's take a minute to go fuck ourselves. I think we all deserve it.
Oh boy.
Maybe not
for
what happened. maybe not for what happened today, but at some point in our lives, we've deserved what we're about to do to ourselves. Which is we should go fuck ourselves.
You're here.
Let's go ahead and cut the ads, and we'll be back after we finished. Fuck ourselves.
I liked that conversation better than.
Yeah, actually, I think that went way better. I think because
it did too,
the addition.
I was too drunk to remember the first one, so sure.
Also, like
Probably
the,
shorter.
like you added some bits into that part that we didn't have the first time. I think that were real good.
Yeah.
So like, I think that worked out very well.
That video is still on.
You know,
I get wrecked. I mean, it wasn't even the final because it just wasn't enough time to like fully do what we wanted. But like, man,
actually, now that I'm thinking about that, our performance will still be on Twitch, Joe.
Yeah, it will still be on Twitch. I don't want to pull audio from that though, because I remember how much of a nightmare that was the last time we had to do that.
I don't, but you do.
I certainly do. Given it would probably be a lot easier this time because we'd be pulling all three of our tracks and not just mine. But
what else is on here?
Oh, yeah. Ooh, sorry. Now you'll have to let me know what. Just going slowly further downhill.
We just did speaking to what you were talking about, we just filmed I wanted to do a Christmas special.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I want to do something fun, stupid, goofy. I was gonna do like a little radio play. And I don't think you met her. I don't know why you would have. My friend Adele, she does she's the executive producer, I think is what her title is. I don't know. For a social media marketing company. So she has access to like equipment.
The name sounds familiar, but I don't know if I've ever met her personally.
If you had it, probably would have just been passing.
Right.
But she was like, well, what if we filmed it? And I was like, okay. Like what I had written, I was like, is this filmable?
Okay. Okay. So to jump back in.
Yes.
So we were talking. You were starting to talk about the Grant Morrison and Mark Millar thing.
Sure.
And you were just getting to the crux of that. Like you were talking about Mark Millar having like several different things like that have been noteworthy for their adaptations, or like things that are in the works. You hadn't started describing the crux of like the conflict there, so you could jump directly into like anyway they like. Like you had covered that Millar was Morrison's protege,
right?
But so you could just jump right back into
okay.
You could jump right into like so anyway Millar had been working on such and such and then had to bring Morrison in for
Right. I think the reason it was going to relate was Millar's stuff is very adaptable because he's working in the field of action, whereas Morrison is strictly working in the medium of comics.
Yeah.
Which relates to the conversation earlier that I definitely remember because I was definitely not drunk, which was that Les Mis maybe is perhaps not the most adaptable film.
Yeah.
And then we will go into a thing after that, which I also remember because I was also not drunk, which
where we fix it.
Joe, would you like some Jack Daniels? It only tastes a little bit like the bottom of your shoe.
No, I think I'm okay for right now. Mike just popped in and said, "This is an Elden Ring," and I'd like to think he just casually name dropped the singer Adele.
I don't get that reference, but
Michael? No.
I did.
oh yeah, no. Caleb and Adele are super tight.
Yeah.
That I believe. Okay. Oh Jesus Christ! I'm never gonna make it in time for Becca's performance. Are you ready to jump back in?
A minute.
Yeah.
Like a literal minute.
We'd already talked about what we think would make it work, right? The extending it on HBO.
We
right?
talked about that a little
We
bit.
talked
Yeah.
about that already. And where we're picking up.
Let me double check. Jesus Christ.
I feel like we did.
I feel like we did. I want to make sure we caught that.
Because I think that's how we came back from the break, was talking about
Extending
what
it.
would you do?
Angels in America.
Yes, yeah, all that. Yeah.
And I think I started to ramble about comic books.
Because I mean, I think that is the fix. And substituting out people.
Yeah, I think then I'll ramble about comic books. Then we'll go into subbing actors.
Yeah, I think I made my decision. Let's circle it so I know it's official. It's a weird one, but I think it would fucking work. I believe me. Thank you. Oh yeah, so we filmed the Christmas special, and we pre-recorded it because we made it a musical because one. But it was the idea of my character as the podcast host hates Christmas, and I go to a Christmas Eve work party and get too drunk and fall and hit my head and goes into a Christmas fever dream, and I meet the ghost of Christmas past, Jesus, Rudolph, Santa, and the two wise women who are lesbians. And they convinced me that Christmas is beautiful. But everyone had a little song, and like my first, I had two because I made myself
Right.
this is my podcast.
Yeah.
But I went the second one. I was like, oh shit, this is like if I don't sell this isn't gonna land at all.
I can't hear it
yeah.
playing through. So we did get that stuff, but it's like in the interstitial before we had like officially come back from break, I think. But I could figure out a way to cut that and make that work. Oh wait, no. Oh, maybe this is actually after we come back from break. Yeah. Point is, the Angels in America stuff is in there.
Great. So I can go straight into the Grant Morrison book business.
Yes.
Great. Cool. Stretch.
Recording. Yeah, recording.
Great. So Grant Morrison had in the past been Mark Millar's mentor, and Mark Millar went on to become very successful in the film world. He just writes very adaptable material. It's very action oriented. It has a little bit of a twist to give it some spice. Whereas Grant Morrison, they write their stuff for the format they're working in. So if they're working in comic books, they're writing for comic books. They have worked in television. They work in television. So when they have a comic book, say that they have a kind of their version of Homeward Bound called We Three, which is phenomenal and really sad.
Yeah, it is.
Excellent. One of the best comics I've ever read. It's been in development hell forever, and I think part of that is because it's not super adaptable to film. It's not easily adapted to film.
Yeah.
Right.
And I wonder if the story by Hugo Weaving is
Victor
perhaps
Victor Hugo,
Hugo
for God's
Weaving.
sake, Victor Hugo.
If Agent Smith probably didn't write this in order to be adapted to the screen. I think that extending the script to a longer, making it longer so that it fits in more of the material, more of the character development that is in the novel. Presumably, I have not read the novel because I've been trapped in a cabin in the middle of the woods and forced to either choose between that or double ply toilet paper. And listen, sometimes toilet paper is just fascinating. Did you ever steal toilet paper from Waller? Just curious.
Yes, of
Okay,
course.
so we all have right.
Roll, like the whole roll.
Right, the whole roll.
Yes, we all stolen toilet paper in college.
All right, good. Because I go
Yeah.
down.
That's fair. I would leave.
You know what? I'm really sad that we never did group poop.
Pardon me?
Well, group poop was like after we ate at Foster's, and sometimes it was a questionable meal.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes it's a loose term. Much like
Loose. Gotcha.
much like our bowel movement.
The gentlemen would all gather in depending on how far you made it before it kicked in, whichever dormitory was nearest,
Sure.
and have a group poop, which is where you get in the stalls and support each other.
Yeah. If you didn't go to college where everyone has their own suite, then there are communal bathrooms where this is possible.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
We were. I mean, towards the end of my time serving at IUP,
Serving.
a lot of the buildings were remade in order to have.
Yeah.
Yep.
I missed it. Yeah.
I missed it. I was in.
I didn't. I did experience that before I moved off campus.
What do you mind?
I did.
What the Chinese the dormitory you're in?
I was the head RA for the suites on Maple.
Wow. Okay, I'm not familiar with that. Was actually.
It was right like so let's say you have like Scranton and Lawrence and Schaefer right across Maple from there. That was where it was. So it was like where it's where the new health center went in, and
God, that health center was terrifying.
Well, it was a less terrifying health center.
That's good.
Once they moved it out of Pekin, it was
the Pekin Health Center was terrifying.
Yeah, that building was horrible.
It gave me crabs
by looking at it.
Just by looking at it.
Yeah,
I wasn't even entered the building.
Yeah,
I wasn't
like
crabs.
Yeah, but yeah, it was basically people were sealed off in their own little terrariums of living spaces.
Yeah. So like we would go to the tri-halls before the tri-halls were demolished, and we're like, "How you doing?"
Yeah, this is where the tri-halls originally were.
Okay. I do miss the tri-halls. There was this one time.
Me too.
It was my freshman year, and we had a pretty close-knit freshman class. We were all in the same acting one. It was Steve, Vicky, Liz, that group.
Yeah.
We all went to the same study halls because we couldn't drink yet, right?
Yeah.
We couldn't drink yet.
Right. Yeah. Well,
so we like hang out in the study halls, and we like turn out the lights because we're exhausted. We don't want to have those like soul suckers on. And then like somebody came into the main area of the study hall. We're all like the back area with like door closed. I'm like, this is gonna look terrible. So I'm like, all right, so here's what we're gonna do. Steve, you're gonna leave first. Just take a minute, you leave, and then then the women will all leave, and then I will wait another couple minutes, then I will leave. Yeah. And it didn't matter.
No, it didn't.
It didn't matter at all.
So how does this tie back to what you were talking about with Grant Morrison and Mark Millar?
Oh.
You see,
group poop.
Group poop was a collaborative effort to adapt the food into a format which was poop.
Let's move on, please.
Come on. So I think Les Mis is a little
Extend
hard to
Yeah.
adapt because it is for a certain format. But if you extended the runtime,
Yes.
that would help to develop
Yes.
the characters, make
Yeah.
give a shit because like
Make me care.
make me group poop in a way that because like especially the love triangle in the second half of the film, I'm like I don't care. I don't care. You guys
Not at
like
all.
No.
thought each other were super fucking hot
Yeah.
from across
And I
the
think
room.
Yeah.
I think that's important, only because we talked earlier about them moving her song to before, before where the act break would be, right?
Right.
If it
right.
had been in Act 2 where it is in the show, it gives a little bit more context to that love triangle. Even though you don't really see Amanda Seyfried after that big group song at
Not
all.
really,
I don't
no.
actually remember where.
Disappears.
Yeah. Other than it's the group song and then it's the war.
Yeah.
The war,
So
and you don't see her after that.
Yeah, like Act 2 basically starts with them launching the offensive.
Yeah.
At the funeral.
That guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lamar.
Like
Lamar.
her character, even though she's not on screen a lot in the first half, is still important to the plot.
Mhm.
She's talked about a lot, especially through Anne Hathaway's character. I think another thing that would help is recasting a certain character's actor.
Yes.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that maybe
Russell Crowe.
Kurt Cameron,
Russell Crowe.
Kurt Cameron. You're right. Kurt Cameron shouldn't have been in this movie.
Cameron Crowe was
Yeah.
probably
Oh,
the
God.
best. The cast in this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Joe.
Kevin Bacon.
You shut the fuck up.
You know what?
So
He
we're gonna.
fought worms. He could fight the French.
I've lost count of the number of Tremors references we've had over the past several episodes, but god damn it, I'm thrilled it happened again.
I'm not upset about it.
No.
So I left it up to you to choose who replaces
No,
Russell
there's
Crowe.
a lot of pressure. I was really torn between. I had 4. I've narrowed it down to 2, and I'm pretty sure
Ooh.
I'm settled on 1.
Oh damn. Okay, I want to
I'm
hear
gonna
this
give
process.
you my the one I didn't choose.
Yeah.
And that was John C. Riley.
Oh,
Oh,
He can sing.
okay.
he can. We
He can hit
proved
those
it in
notes,
Chicago.
right? Chicago, and he also sings really high in Prairie Home Companion. You can't really tell because of the style of the music,
Oh.
but his notes with Woody Harrelson are like much higher.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he can definitely sing. I think he can play Age really well,
Yeah, that's accurate.
and I think he could really do the. I think there is a little bit of nuance with Javert that is a little bit playful, and that he sees especially in the first half where he sees like Jean Valjean as this little like plaything that he can just sort of like kind of fuck with, and they'll be like, well, run away, I'll catch you anyway. Like, please go ahead. I think he could do that really well too, but I didn't choose him.
You didn't,
I
which
didn't.
is curious now because that's a really good like push for him.
Yeah.
I think if Hugh Jackman weren't the person he was playing against, he would be excellent. But Hugh Jackman is a little too. Really quick, I do want to know what the other two were that weren't.
That didn't make the list.
You're 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Oh man, I scratched them out.
Oh no.
Steven Weber was one, and I think I happened to be scrolling through my phone. Steven Weber, he was on Wings. He's in
wow.
Reefer Madness as the bad guy in Reefer Madness.
Like a
Oh,
shit ton
God.
like Stephen King.
Yeah, he was in the TV adaptation of The Shining. He was.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that is a deep cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was a deep cut. That was my Celine Dion impersonation.
He's a good actor.
He is really good, and he can sing.
Okay.
He's been in musicals. I think he can do anger well, and I was like, that's all you've got going for you. And then Patrick Wilson from
Oh yeah. Oh, I do.
who we can also sing. He's been on a couple Broadway shows, I think.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he
Okay.
can sing. And
Patrick Wilson from Angels in America.
Angels
Right.
in America, the Insidious movies, yeah, and
Yeah.
that was one of the reasons I was like those Insidious movies where he's like the possessed person. Like, he's terrifying. He haunts my dreams to this day.
He very much can be.
Yeah, he's got that intimidation factor I think could work really well. But I ultimately chose, and now that I'm thinking about it, I might have switched back to John C. Reilly. But in the time that the movie came out, which I believe is the rule, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You're gonna laugh at first, maybe. I don't know. John Lithgow,
John Lithgow.
who can also sing. He was in the musical version of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels as the Michael Caine character.
Oh.
Sings amazingly well. Like
Huh.
you would not expect it.
No, not at all.
And like if you have a chance, like
Yeah,
YouTube, just one of the songs that he's in that show, just to hear him sing a little bit. Preferably, I think the song is called "Dirty Rotten Number," and he has the first part, and it's brilliant. Like he's so good. And I've only ever really known him from Third Rock from the Sun. That's my bread and butter.
Right.
Like
Sure.
that's what I know him from. And then I've never seen him on Dexter, but I've heard great things. I heard he's terrifying.
I believe that.
And
He
then
is. He's
seeing him
absolutely
in The
terrifying.
Crown as what's his face doesn't matter.
Winston
Churchill?
The fourth.
Yeah, somebody something. I don't know. Who the fuck knows?
Voldemort.
Yeah,
no.
and his sort of dark side, because he also is the guy from Fox News that in the Bombshell movie. Sorry, he's not actually a guy from Fox News, but the Bombshell movie where he played the head of Fox News.
Roger Ailes?
Yes,
Oh,
he plays
fuck.
him, and it's cringe-worthy.
Oh, it has
He's-
to be.
But
John Lithgow is
is
a
dark.
phenomenal actor that doesn't get the credit that he
Yeah.
deserves.
And I think at 2012, I think he could have pulled this off.
Absolutely.
He's who I chose as my number one.
He is an
Interesting.
I think he's a really good choice. I think it would be a little bit of a hard sell to a studio just because he's not known for playing.
I feel like people know him more from like Third Rock from the Sun,
Yeah.
where he's
Yeah.
shtick comedy, and he can do that too.
But he is a very flexible actor who has a very wide range. And I would love to see him go up against Hugh Jackman.
I think that would be entertaining as hell.
Go, Harry and the Henderson.
Get out of here. Can't you see we don't want you anymore?
Yeah, that's my.
Now I'm kind of upset that it didn't happen. Because it would be amazing. Like I understand what
Yeah.
the
The role to sing, it's honestly, that role is not hard to sing either. It's
No.
not super high. It's a baritone role. Most people that can sing his songs, and
Then what happened?
somebody thought it was a good idea.
You were saying when we were watching the film that role is highly sought after.
Yes.
Why?
In the show, I think, and being that you've only ever seen him play that role,
correct?
In the show, that's the role that I think most people most identify with. I think it's the most fleshed out role when you see the show.
It's really weird to hear having watched the movie because I thought it was so two-dimensional.
Two-dimensional.
Yeah.
You get more, and maybe it's because I've seen good people play him. I've also seen bad people play him, not including Russell Crowe.
Sure.
But there's a level of depth that comes with him, especially when it comes to the obsession
Sure.
factor, and that's something that they didn't play on in the movie. I don't think at all. You didn't get obsession in any way, shape, or form, and I think that is key. I think that's crucial to him. Spoiler alert: committing suicide. Because it's this obsession. He's going to get this guy. But I think there is this level of Javert that's like, yes, he's an officer of the law. This guy stole a loaf of bread. Like,
Literally.
it's not a crime. I mean, it is a crime, but
Like it's
Yeah.
by the strict letter of the law, it's a crime.
I've
But
stolen
like,
before. I didn't wind up in the same boat.
yeah, it's like yeah, it's like you see somebody stealing a loaf of bread. No, you didn't. Just like,
Right.
like leave it the fuck alone.
Right, but the hierarchy of how the law is at that point is that yes, he is a criminal, and Javert's job is to treat him as such.
One of the things I wanted to suggest for this fix was to make it known that Javert's chasing of Jean Valjean
is a personal thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because in my head, I'm like,
Yes.
do you chase down every single person that steals a loaf of bread? Because that's a lot. You are a busy fella.
Yeah, you mentioned that when we were watching it. It's
Mhm.
just like, is this a thing that you just normally do? Like, you figure out that like somebody that you let on parole has gone off and done
Mhm.
some other something completely unrelated. In this case, started a business, I guess, and you
Right.
still
They
like,
did, yeah.
you still like you found out that that's who
Yes.
that was, and you decided to chase him
Yeah.
down.
Yes.
Like,
It's-
how many murders do you miss?
Yeah.
How many like carriage
How many
steps have you
people
not solved?
He could have gotten
Like,
Jack the Ripper because maybe it's in Britain. We don't really know. But he was too busy chasing down Hugh Jackman.
listen, French Englishman.
Yeah, like it's decades of obsession, and we
Yeah.
don't see that in the movie. You do get a little bit more of that in the show, and so when it comes up to the suicide song, it just doesn't feel good to say
No.
that.
Swan song.
But that's
We'll
what
call
it
it
is.
Swan
Yeah,
song.
we'll call it Swan
Yeah.
song. Yeah.
The little divey song.
Yeah,
In
the way swans kill themselves.
Yeah, in the movie his suicide comes out of nowhere. You know,
Yeah.
in the show it makes sense
Okay.
because you get a
Okay.
little bit more of that, and that's like yeah. To be honest, the role of Jean Valjean, yeah, coveted, but it's hard to say. He's got a hit.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
high
Yeah.
notes. And he's pretty much in the show. He really is much more involved than I think Hugh Jackman is in the movie. Like, yeah, they've got the people doing their own like little songs, and once the war starts, not so much. But like, he's the lead. I believe he's the final bow.
I believe
Every time I've seen it, I'm pretty sure he's the final bow.
Considering he's kind of the through line
Yeah,
through a lot
right.
of these situations, I'm not surprised.
Right.
Did you ever?
Yeah.
No, Jean Valjean.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think what I'd like to see out of
Javert.
Jaybert,
Javert.
is he and Jean Valjean having a conflict of ideals.
Yeah.
So that when it ends, his worldview is so shattered that he is unable to change and therefore completes suicide.
Right. And we talked about this too a little bit while we were watching it. Was that the point of a musical? Whenever a song comes on,
Yes.
we're taught in theater school that the reason that you sing is that because the emotional stakes are so high that you've got nothing left to do but sing. So in a show that is completely sung through, with the exception of a few added lines,
Much
random
like
journeys to Mordor,
Rent.
yeah, which
Yeah.
the movie where they like took sung lines and made them into real lines, and it just is cringeworthy, especially when they're singing about AIDS and ACT. I hate the Rent movie.
I've
Also,
only ever watched
not as
the
much as
show. I've
Les
never seen
Mis.
the movie.
Don't.
You don't just take an ACT break?
Yeah, like
I was drunk on Mad Dog when I saw the movie, so I don't remember.
I would rather have that be my memory of it as well. But yeah, the show that's completely sung through, right? The emotional stakes would have to be so high the whole time
Mhm.
that you have to believe it, and you don't get that with Les Mis as a movie. As a show, you look at it as an operetta where it's sung through, and like you know it going into it. But as a movie, I don't think people are going into a movie to see an operetta. They're going in to see a movie.
I don't think most people
Yeah.
know what an operetta is.
Exactly.
What is music?
What is it?
Uh,
80s glam rock.
very, 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 very quick sidebar.
Yes.
I took a certain student of our friendships on a date.
Mhm.
It was the very first date I had in college to get coffee at Commonplace.
Ooh.
And then we're like, oh, we're going to see this operetta, which was, I can't remember what it was, but it was an operetta, so it was awful. Because it's just the same song being repeated over and over and over and over
Right.
and over and over again. And I had like the worst fucking gas just like building up in my soul. And I'm just like uncomfortably like leaning from one cheek to the other. And I'm like, this is the worst date I've ever been
That's
on.
where
You know
group
what?
poop would have come in.
Well,
handy.
group poop would have been amazing. Excuse me, great date. I need to take 5. I'll see you in the theater. And then I'm like calling Will and like my other friends.
Yeah.
And you know,
I need you to meet me
now
in this
she and I are,
bathroom.
and now she and I are married. But you know, that didn't happen. A group poop never occurred.
And you never saw this person again.
And I never saw this person again.
Unrelated. They were hit by a train.
In Indiana.
Anyway.
where- yes.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's quite as repetitive as an operetta, but I think the style of music is that
Yeah.
moving on to our next recasting,
Yes.
Eddie Redrum.
Redrum.
We had talked about a little bit during the movie
Yeah.
about not entirely recasting because he wasn't awful.
Right, he wasn't. And this is the thing that we've done in several movies up to this point.
Yeah.
I think the best solution here is just to shift some roles around.
Yeah.
I think that I keep forgetting his name, but the actor who played the a little bit more
Aaron Tveit.
Aaron Tveit.
Who's I don't know what his real character name is in the inlet is.
You said Aaron Tveit.
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 Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I
I
think-
think I could be wrong.
Sure.
too. But that's how I say it.
He has amazing hair.
Yes.
Yes.
Him and Eddie Redmayne perfectly coiffed.
Right. There's a war coming on. You've been stuck in the field for days.
And
with
you
your
were
hair
stalked on pomade.
Yeah.
Yes.
The pomade.
Moving him to one. Not only is he a better singer,
Mhm.
but he also has more energy. He has more want
Mhm.
for this revolution. Moving him into the Eddie Redmayne character.
Yeah.
Moving Eddie Redmayne into the some other character.
Someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's another. Like, I think the way we had framed it before was that like the three like kind of top ranking revolutionaries that we see are Eddie Redmayne, Aaron Tveit, and the guy that kind of looks like he'd be a substitute for Frodo
Frodo,
in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So if you move Aaron Tveit up into Eddie Redmayne's role,
Main
you
role.
move the Hobbit up into Aaron Tveit's role, and you move Eddie Redmayne to the Hobbit's role. And I think that solves it because then you still have Eddie Redmayne getting a lot of featured moments and arguably some of the most emotional points because that character's the one character that gives a shit about the kid being shot.
Yeah,
or
no one else
potentially being
gives-
shot.
no one else
Yeah,
cares
no one
this
else
kid
tries to
dies.
stop him. He's the one guy who's like, no!
Yeah.
I forget the kid's name, but
Not only that, Scotty. Not only do you have him giving a shit about the kid dying, you don't have him giving as much of a shit about the revolution. So that when he goes back on giving a fuck about the revolution and goes to just to marry Snow White,
Yep.
It's a little bit more believable. Whereas in this, you like, oh, you were literally the dude on top of a wagon with a gun pointed at the French army, and now you don't give a single fuck. That's a big shift.
oh, so you're suggesting that not only do we switch the character in terms of that casting, but we change the storyline so it's still Eddie Redmayne who carries through to the marriage and everything in the end.
Correct.
Okay, because in my brain when we initially talked about that, I was thinking Aaron Tveit would be the character that went through in that line.
And initially, I was thinking that as well, but I think because it's so hard for me to imagine somebody having such a prominent role in the revolution going back on that.
Yeah.
Like you still present Eddie Redmayne as a main character because like there's no way that I don't was it Paramount or Universal? I think it was Universal who made this. I don't think Universal's ever going to be like, no, Eddie Redmayne's going to play the third name revolutionary. Like that's not going to happen. But if you have him still like as love interest, who then goes on to the marriage, sure. But then you have him also like the third removed from giving a fuck about the revolution.
Sure.
Right.
I buy that.
Yeah.
I buy that. I think that's an excellent move. I think that narratively makes so much more sense and makes that much more believable.
And there was a final fix that initially I thought would work before we expanded this to like a 4 to 6 part series on HBO.
Okay.
And that's the love triangle.
Right.
In the real world, what would have fixed this lickety split?
Maybe not lickety split, but you know,
With some deep thinking, some processing,
some intentionality.
Some very clear and open communication. So in the film, you have Amanda Seyfried, Eddie Redmayne, and I can't remember her name.
Samantha Barks. Yeah.
In a love triangle.
Yes.
And it doesn't in the movie at least you don't see as much romantic attention from Eddie Redmayne to Samantha Parker, but I feel like it's there. It's just not explored in the film.
It's supposed to be there.
It's kind of implied that like they've been playing house, perhaps,
Yes,
like leading,
yes.
like
Look at
leading
that
up to the
little
revolution.
scene of her like in the doorway, like being coy.
Yeah,
We've
exactly.
all
Yeah.
done it.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, but outside of that, we get no other.
Well, like Amanda Seyfried has those breasts that can tell the weather.
Yeah.
70% of the time.
Yeah,
There's a 60% chance that it's already raining.
yeah. It is.
I present to you the solution of polyamory.
Let them all fuck.
Yeah.
There's two solutions that fuck over every dramatic film. Polyamory.
Yep.
Cell phones.
Well, when we eliminate one,
When you have
only
those
one
two-
option is possible.
If you're in a horror film and you have a cell phone, that fixes like 70% of your issues.
For the yeah.
If you know how to use it.
If you know how to use it.
Like they have to go out of their way to knock out phone service
Right,
somehow
yeah,
for
right,
for a
yeah,
lot of
right,
things to work.
right.
If you're in a romance or a rom-com, if you introduce polyamory, that fixes like 70%.
Seriously.
So 1980
Let's hook them all up.
or 1816 France.
18.
It's 1832 at this point. So
Got it.
Yeah.
They stumble into polyamory. and
It's a
really
little frowned
knew
upon
that
at this point.
It's a little frowned
it
upon.
might not be the most socially acceptable
It
thing.
might not actually be a thing at this point.
Oh, that's the thing. It might not have a name at this point. So
Yeah.
who's
It might
gonna
not
give
have
a
a
fuck?
name.
That's
Right.
Yeah.
There's like, oh, that weird couple lives on the street.
Yeah, right. We're gonna
Uh,
support all the prostitutes in the beginning of the film by
Right.
doing what they gotta do, but if these three people try to just bang it out, we're gonna have a problem.
A thruple in England, France? No.
So that is my solution. Our solution.
Yeah,
I
support that.
I endorse this. I think, yeah, I think that's absolutely the move to like simplify that plot. To, I mean, given you're changing a lot of what's going to happen regarding Samantha Barks' character, like.
Mhm.
Eponine is not going to have the kind of lovelorn, unrequited aspects of her character going on. But I think especially if you build this into a 4 to 6 part series, then you're giving more screen time to them fleshing out this relationship and the struggles that are inherent within a polyamorous relationship.
Yeah.
You could still get the emotional punch out of her death and out of those
Yes.
moments, even if it's just.
Especially if she's not just connected to Eddie Redmayne, but if she's romantically involved with both Eddie Redmayne and
And
Amanda
her.
Seyfried.
Yeah.
Oh.
Having her be present for maybe even her death in some way, shape, or form, where it's like she's there, but she can't quite be there.
Right.
Like that sort of like lustful remorse.
God, that's tragic.
Yeah.
Oh, my heart.
That'd be beautiful.
It could
You're
be.
supposed to care
Yeah.
when she dies in general.
Yeah.
But give that another dimension.
Mhm.
That's,
Tearjerker. Absolutely. Not a dry eye in the house.
not one.
Jules and Jim, but
Or seat.
limited.
Everyone's just weeping and wet.
So
Why can't they all just work it out?
well, I don't see
Horny and harrowed.
single other way to fix this film. In fact, I think we fixed it so hard that it's perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. To recap, you are expanding this out into a 4 to 6 part miniseries on HBO. We were recasting Russell Crowe to become John Lithgow. We are shuffling some of the casting so that Eddie Redmayne plays a different role. That his storyline still follows through, but he is not like the face of the revolution, because that doesn't make any sense to begin with, considering the richness of his character. And we're eliminating the love triangle by turning it into a polyamorous relationship with real emotional stakes and actual heartfelt connection.
Makes the wedding kind of tragic.
It makes the wedding
Yeah.
kind of tragic too.
Because no one's happy.
Nope.
No?
Well,
You would even say that
no
they
one-
might be miserable.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of DeRazzled. This will be the first and last time we ever
oh my god. Well, we love you.
Normally we say like, okay, now that we fixed the movie, what are the gradings? But it already has like a really high.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know if we would change the ratings on this.
Oh.
I think it would go either way depending on how critics would respond to it. Especially with the polyamory angle. I think that like I think there are some people who would take issue with that. And might rank it lower because of that, or it might open some eyes and be like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
this is a thing that could work," and they really play it to to their emotional advantage. Like,
especially if you don't actually use the word.
yeah, if you never actually utter the word
It's
polyamory,
assumed.
I think the moment you utter the word, especially in a period piece like this, it becomes ham-fisted.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
You're pushing an agenda.
You're
at
pushing
that
an
point.
agenda,
Right.
Yeah, if you just let it be and you let it develop and flourish the way that it needs to, I think you floor some people.
I think that the audience base that rated it so high might not be as strong, but I think that in the fixes that we made, you expand the fan base
General audience.
much more because you give it more story.
Yeah, I don't know that you necessarily like make up for those losses, but I think you maybe even convert some people who rated it poorly because they hate love triangles to think about it differently and give it a different look.
I agree. So instead of adjusting the critic and like IMDb Rotten Tomatoes score,
We give it the Oscar.
we give it the Oscar. I would like to hear your justice score because you
Yes.
rated this movie very low.
I think
Yes.
I think I gave it 35%.
Something like that. Yeah.
Before we even get a 25, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's
So
right. It was
what
my
would
second.
your Rotten Tomatoes score be for this?
Rotten Tomatoes, if we made the changes that we had, and this is now a series, right? Correct.
Yes.
I'm rating the series.
Yes.
I would bump it up to a 75%.
I was
Ooh,
thinking 73.
that's a big jump. Okay.
Yeah.
What about IMDb?
That
out
was
of 10?
Out of 10?
Correct.
8 out of 10.
Ooh.
Yeah. There are certain structure things that we cannot change, unfortunately. You know, we've got the story that we've got. But I think it all comes down to having the time to care about the people that you're seeing. And
Yes.
if you don't have that, or if you try to smush too much into it, what's the point?
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
My IMDb would be like 7.4.
I think that's about where I'd be. Yeah.
What would your Rotten Tomatoes be, John?
Rotten Tomatoes, I think I'd be around a 70, I think.
Mhm.
I mean, you know me. I'm tempted to go to 69, but
Nice.
no, I think at least a 70.
Okay, I was saying like 73.
Yeah.
I have faith.
Yeah.
I have less faith in the critics and whatnot to rise to that occasion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think 70's realistic.
Caleb, thank you for joining us. Delicious drinks,
Yes.
Yes.
Whew,
effective drinks.
Yeah, we did.
absolutely. Whew. I'm only just now starting to sober up a little bit.
Oh,
A little bit.
that must be lovely.
Dear audience, if you've not listened to Making Martini, you are missing out. There are so many wonderful, fantastic, hilarious episodes to pick from. Just pick one that like you are interested in and just dive right in.
Yeah, you've got like a year and a half's worth of content there, which is beautiful.
A bunch of episodes. If nothing else, watch the one on what did you call the one with the porn stars?
The Art of Making Porn.
Yes,
Nice.
It is so educational and funny and
It's interesting.
interesting.
Interesting and different.
Watch it with your mom and your grandma. Your
You honestly could, with the
church
exception
leader.
of a few moments.
Sit down with your professor. Let them know that they fuck up. This is what you're doing with your life. Joe, where can people find DeRazzled?
Well, you're listening to it right now, but you know that you can find us on pretty much everywhere you find podcasts. You listen to us on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, our wonderful sponsors, Anchor. Good Pods, Podchaser, Podcast Addict, wherever you can find podcasts. Please rate and review us on any and all of those platforms. It helps get us further up into rankings and algorithm results so that people can find us a lot easier. Please share the show, share our posts on social media so people are more aware of us. You can find us on Twitter at DeRazzledPod, on Facebook at DeRazzled Podcast, and Instagram at DeRazzled_podcast. You can also email us at DeRazzledPodcast@gmail.com to let us know what you think of our fixes.
Also,
Or to let us know what you want us to cover in season 2, which is rapidly approaching. We are nearing the end of season 1. You may have noticed already by the time this comes out, but we are going to be weekly through the month of March, according to our schedule. Yeah, we have a lot that we're covering. It's kind of nuts. But that will all culminate in the 42nd annual Razzie Awards, and then our season finale, which is Whatever Wins. So
fantastic. And Caleb, I assume we can find yours at all of the same words that Joe said in a word
Yeah.
leg.
Yeah, we're everywhere. I'm pretty sure. It's me, but I'm everywhere. Yeah.
Where can people find you find you and your show on social media?
Yes, so you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Making a Martini. You can find me on Instagram on Twitter. I still don't know what the handle is. On Twitter at Martini Making. I didn't realize that's what I had chosen. So I do apologize.
Branding is hard with these things.
Martini Making. And then our host website, Buzzsprout, where all the episodes are there, and then everywhere else you get your podcasts, we're there.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic. We did it again.
We did it again. So, are you aware of how we end the episodes?
Mostly, I think. No, maybe not. Nope, I'm not.
Okay, so we always end with the phrase, we're sure to razzle dazzle ya, but we always have the guests say the razzle dazzle ya part. So we're going to lead you in to say that part.
Okay.
Again, we should have explained that beforehand, but we're idiots.
We've
And
never
also,
once in the entire
not
first
once.
season.
I'm proud to be a part of the group that came before me.
Right.
Hey,
So, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlethems, please tune in next week when we will be back, and we will be sure to
Razzle dazzle you.
Yeah, we will.
Shit.
fuck you.
Okay, I'm saved.
That was brilliant.
That was fun as hell. That was a really.
brilliant.
I can't wait. I can't wait to like. I panicked whenever we had that issue with the recording there, but like the second pass through,
I think
went even better,
Yeah.
even fucking better.
I think we were warmed up.
Yeah, all of you watching on the stream, namely Mike, I think it's only Mike. Thank you.
We need to play Spelunky, Mike.
Yeah, we should definitely play Spelunky with Mike. That's the thing we should do at some point.
When do you guys do the stream? Where do we do? Where
We
can I
were on
watch that?
Twitter and YouTube.
Twitter and YouTube?
Twitch, I think.
Oh, that's what I meant. Twitch and YouTube.
Twitch and
Sorry,
YouTube?
Twitch,
Okay.
Twitch and YouTube. Which I'm going to end the stream now. So bye, Mike. Bye, Mike. Bye, anyone else that may be watching. I'm not aware of.
I got not to push my